Everybody in chat keeps saying no sound over and over and over again. Let's start from scratch. Hello, everybody. Merry Christmas. I'm wearing red for the festive season. We might have a guest if he frees up some time, but we might not. It's no big deal. Just chat with you guys. Let's go into chat here. I'm going to start all the way up top. It says check out pumpamentals.com while you wait. Good shilling, sir. Charlie Shrimp better count his Forrest Gumps. Some scammer named Charlie Shrem called me a scammer. And I was like, I don't know about that, man. He got sued for $25 or $26 million for stealing 5,000 Bitcoin from the Winklevoss twins, which they settled. And their lawyer was sanctioned. So it's like the Winklevi didn't do very good there. But, you know, anytime you see someone in crypto become very wealthy with no product or service, you're like, where'd the money come from? And then he also has this paid group where he pretends to be a good trader or something. He knows nothing about trading. And yeah, they charge you monthly and just bang your credit card over and over and over again. So it's like, dude, you know, are you is a guy that's been to prison, ex-con, and sued by the Winklevi twins, and running a bullshit paid group that literally the headline says, we know how to make money in a up and a down market. Is that guy calling me a scammer? What? Like, can you find somebody less shady and less shitty to call me a scammer, please? That would be nice. Thank you. So I mix it up sometimes. Sometimes I take it really like nice and I'm like, hey, you know, I understand your opinion and I think I could convince you otherwise. Let's have a nice friendly chat and come on and educate my audience and save them from the horrors that you're describing. Sometimes I go that route. And I started that route and I'm just like, actually, you know what? Fuck this guy. And then I just like laid into him. And of course, since nearly everyone's a coward, they don't come on a chat because they're scared. Because, I don't know. They know they're inferior, I guess. I don't know. It's funny to be called out, you know, by people, and then you accept their challenge, and you're like, yeah, okay, you don't like me, you don't like my project, that's fine. Let's have a chat about it. Cowards. They're just totally 100% fearful keyboard warriors that will talk smack behind the keyboard, but, you know, not to your face. It's hilarious. All right, let's go back through the chat here. So someone called him Charlie Shrimp, which was funny. Now, just for legal clarification, Charlie may know something about trading, but I don't think it's anywhere as much as I know. So, you know, I tell you not to trade. If he wants to have a quiz or a test and he and I can go, you know, have somebody audit our knowledge, I'm happy to do that and see which one of us knows more about trading. So when I say knows nothing about trading, what I mean is a bad trader and knows less than me. So happy to take that test anytime he's ready. Somebody's talking about HEX volume on exchange. 24-hour volume is at $100. Yeah, people don't want to trade on these exchanges no one's heard of before. So this is not a HEX problem. This is an exchange problem. If you want to have volume, you need to be on an exchange that does volume. If you're on an exchange that doesn't do volume, why do you think you're going to do volume there? So HEX is currently listed on at least 10 or 11 exchanges. I don't think any of which do any real volume. So I don't know why anyone is excited or interested by that right now. I mean, it's only been out 21 days. What do you want? You know, if you want it to be on some place that has high volume, go ahead and submit it and have them list it. We're the number 1 to number 3 app on Ethereum every day since it's launched. So should get listed, right? I mean, that's what you list is the things people are using. People are using HEX a lot, so it should be listed if exchanges are in the business of listing things that people use. Is this Richard Hart in the cover image? No. The cover image I changed to somebody in HEX memes, t.me/HEX memes made a Santa Claus with a bunch of HEX paraphernalia. So it says Merry Hexmas. It's cute. It says it's trading below 1 Satoshi. I don't think that's true. I mean, I just looked on Buydesk.com and it was trading at 2 Satoshis. And there's about 111 million HEX for sale at 2 Satoshis. And there's about 460 million bid at 1 Satoshi. So it's like a 5-to-1 or a 4-to-1 ratio of bid to ask there at the 1 to 2 Satoshi level. And it's funny what you see happening on Buydesk, which is also, maybe only $10,000 or $20,000 a day volume. People will bid 1 Satoshi, hope they get hit, and sometimes they do, and then, sell 50% higher. Well, if you buy 1 Satoshi and you sell it 2 Satoshi, that's 100%. That's a lot. And if you sell it 3 Satoshi, that's 300%. So there's actually like a world of difference between 1 Satoshi and 2 Satoshi, which is probably why there's 4x as many bids as there are asked, but it's still a low volume, low liquidity market. On the USD pair, you could, last time I looked a couple hours ago, you could set the price up from, some long decimal number ending in 12 to some long decimal number ending in 36 for like $500. So you could, triple the price for $500 if you wanted to. But I mean, why would you want to? Why would you not just let people fill you with lower amounts? Like I have a theory, and you could say this is unrelated to HEX, because I'm very weary of talking about HEX price, because I don't want anyone to think that I know what's going to happen, or that I know it's going to go up, or I know it's going to go down. I have absolutely no idea. So I'll speak to markets in general. Markets in general, if you want something to go up a higher price, what helps that happen is everyone buying and buying more and no one selling, or if they do sell, selling less. That's really how prices go up in free markets. So if you want to get rid of those guys that would have sold at lower numbers than your target, you shake them out and you make sure that they don't have bags to unload on the way up. And if no one else sells, then whoever wants to buy just has to pay whatever the price is. And so if you can shake out all the weak hands, then you don't have them like riding up with you and then selling into the price on the way. And it just makes it easier to get wherever you want to go. So this idea of shaking out weak hands, I think, makes sense in that if there's two types, I'm making a hypothetical world here. If there's 2 types of users, one that will sell at lower prices and one that will only sell at higher prices, if you can get rid of all the lower price sellers and have them sell the very bottom or whatever, then you don't have to worry about them or deal with them anymore. And if you can get that supply into the hands of people that just won't sell, then, you should, in theory, have higher price appreciation. Now, what would cancel that out is if there's a price elasticity on the buyers and they actually become allergic to buying at higher prices, well, then that would cancel out some of that, right? So we're speaking in very hypothetical, very general things here. Once again, I have no idea what the HEX price will do today or at any time. I have no idea. And I don't think anyone else knows either. So King Richard Smart, thank you. Now it can't trade below a Satoshi in most exchanges that I'm aware of. So for instance, in Buydesk, it just literally physically cannot trade below a Satoshi. You can't enter orders below 1 Satoshi on the BTC pair. Now, in theory, you could find some exchange that had a BTC pair that counted out more decibels, which I don't know of any, but there may be one. And you could also trade on the Ethereum pair. And because Ethereum is only $150 per unit, whereas Bitcoin's about $7,200 a unit, then you've got an extra 60x smaller that you could trade using the same number of decimals when you trade against ETH. So in theory, you could trade lower than 1 sat on the ETH pair. Maybe even the USDT pair, maybe. Let me check my audio to make sure it's broadcasting. Yep, it looks good. I wish it were louder. Oh well. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. I guess it'll be good enough. Somebody says B cup. I don't know, man. Small c? Maybe. What'd I do for my fans? I'm trying to find out where I left off here. God, you guys type so quickly. I'm just waiting to find a good question here. A lot of Merry Christmas. Thanks, guys. Looking forward to some delicious food. Hex Army General checking in. Okay. Now that HEX is live and you see how it's playing out, what would you have done differently if given a chance to do it all over again besides the first day? You know, I published those charts, the EOS charts, because they also had a 350-day launch. And I showed that everyone FOMO'd the first day a little too high. I mentioned this in a video with Data Dash, and people like no raindrop thinks it's the storm, and no raindrop thinks it caused the flood. But in fact, whatever the price is, or the ratio and the adoption amplifier is, that's a result of the people in it and nobody else. So if you didn't get a ratio you liked, you're part of the reason that ratio was what it is. There's no other. The market said it. You're the market. You made it. So I hope you like what you made. It's not, you cannot programmatically cancel out a function unless you know what the function will be. And so offering 1 billion instead of 500 million the first day, like, helped reduce the ratio. Like it helped make it so that you would get more HEX for the same input value. But when people over FOMO 10x or 20x the first day, but you only put in 2x supply that day, then it's just not enough to cancel out the 2 years of cashed up waiting, wanting in energy. And then once that energy dumps, now you've got daily energy every day. And there's going to be a difference between daily energy every day and everyone over FOMOing day one. And it takes kind of, I guess, an advanced market participant to know how to scale in. So, I mean, because like I've tried to explain this before, and I'll explain it again because it's important. If you're trying to distribute a new currency amongst people to make it useful, you want to get it into as many hands as possible, and you have to decide by what mechanism you're going to give some people more and some people less. And so in HEX, you know, if you claim it for free as a Bitcoin holder, the mechanism is, well, how early did you claim? You're going to get more speed bonus, and you're not going to have died to the We Are All Satoshi bleeding out 2% every week, which I guess now you're missing 6% of your stack if you haven't claimed yet, because we're 21 days in. So that's a lot, right? So you'd be missing 6% of your speed bonus, and you'd be missing 6% of your stack if you didn't claim on the first day as a Bitcoin free claimer. And it's also by how many coins you have. So if you're a whale, you get slaughtered. If you're over 10K coins, you get slaughtered by 75%. If you're over 1K coins, you get slaughtered by 50%. If you're under 1K coins, then you're fine. You don't have any penalties, so to speak. But if if one guy has 500 coins and one guy has 100 coins, the guy that's got 500 is going to get 5 times as much as the guy that's got 100. So that same type of mechanism, by choosing who's going to get more and who's going to get less, it also occurs when you choose the distribution slant. And you have to choose, is it going to be linear and it's going to issue the same amount every day? Or is it going to be front-loaded? For you guys, I'll do it this way. Is it going to be front-loaded where the people that get in early get the most supply and the best bonuses, and then the people that get in late get double screwed because there's less supply available for them and they get less bonuses? And it seems like you need to leave meat on the table for the guys that get in later, or else they might not want in. And if you want to reach scale and you want to have a useful product that reaches the maximum number of people, you've got to have just enough to incentivize the early guys to get in early, and you've got to have enough for the middle guys, and you have to have enough for the late guys during this launch phase. And on all the models I was doing when this system was created, we were getting like, 5,000 X for the day one guy, and then like 2,000 X for day two, and then like, 50 X for day three. And it was just silly, because that's how compounding interest works. It can get very silly very quickly. And so we, instead of having it work that way, we made it work a way that I think is better, where, the guys that can get early get the most bonuses and get the, the least bleeding out over We Are All Satoshi and the best share prices. And because of those things, they get the largest piece of that day 353 payout, the big payday, where all the unclaimed coins times all the adoption bonuses are given out. And then we still have enough supply at the end, because what it looks like now is that it's just almost linear. It's less every day based on free claims, but because, we've only got about 1.5% of the possible claims to be made in the first 3 weeks, and there's only 50 weeks, at this trajectory, I don't know, I'm not sure how many percent of possible Bitcoin claims will be made. And so if more claims are being made, that number would drop off faster. It would go from maybe 500 million a day down to maybe 300 million a day. But it's a function of those people getting the free claims in. So if you want to see less available to the adoption amplifier, we need more people to free claim, because that's the math. The adoption amplifier every single day gives out 1/350th of the unclaimed coins. So if more people claim, there's less unclaimed, which means that there's less for the AA. So my summary is of, things I would do different. My gut feeling right now is, because we're in this like trough where everyone over FOMO day one, and then they gave the effective valuation. If all the total market supply was actually circulating, the effective valuation was between 1.8 billion and 2.4 billion, based on that like 40,000 coins, 40,000 ETH that went into the adoption amplifier day one. I don't think that's a reasonable valuation for a project that's only 1 day old. And so the market, it's like, yo, why don't you wait a little while to give it that valuation, right? And, there's just, I can't think of any good way. So if you try to over amplify how much was given to the early guys, that didn't work for EOS. That's what EOS did. EOS gave away 20% of their supply in, I think it was the first 5 days, the first 2 weeks, something like that. And they still had a giant, huge over FOMO day one phase problem. So even like massively increasing the supply allocation to the early guys didn't seem to cancel that problem out. So I think in theory, maybe you could have something like the Telegram guys did with their ICO, where you had an incremental price increase based on entry, something like that, maybe. But when you start trying to experiment with really esoteric, kind of weird bonding curves, it gets even more complex than necessary, right? So I think in the TON launch, they had their thing set to, every new one that someone wanted would cost 1/billionth more than the last one. So it's like, really hard to describe that. Like, can you imagine trying to describe that to someone without a chart? It'd be very, very, very hard. So I'm pretty happy with the HEX launch. I mean, other than people over FOMOing day one, which I talked about and published the charts and, said you might want to scale in. Other than that, I'm not sure you could prevent people from doing it. We've got over 10,000 addresses that have stakes open. We've got over, I think, 60,000 stakes open. We've got over 80, I think it's like 84% staked. We've got over $1 billion of BTC that free claimed. These are really fabulous numbers for, nearly no marketing. Like, so imagine if someone started marketing, how good that could be. Imagine if Asia kicks in. Imagine if Malaysia kicks in, or Singapore. Imagine, like, there's so much growth and opportunity. And in theory, if that 1 sat limit provides some type of support just because you can't trade lower than it, which I don't know, maybe that's a thing. I'm actually not an expert on like the behavior of markets at 1 sat. Maybe that provides price support. I mean, for people that are used to trading on a BTC pair, if you physically can't trade under 1 sat, well, and there's a 4-to-1 ratio at that one sat. It just seems, I don't know. Once again, I'm weary of speaking about HEX price because I have no idea what we'll do. I don't think anyone else does. So do your own research. And I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an investment advisor. I would even tell you that trading is bad. And, I think that it's dangerous and risky. And if you can buy and hold something in crypto, and it's a good project, it seems that you're not that guy that's getting shaken out. It's like Bitcoin went from 20K to 3K. Well, technically from 20K to 3150, depending on when you traded or where you traded. But let's call it 20K to 3150. If you got shaken out and you were waiting for like 2,500 to buy back, well, then it never went to 2,500. It went up to 14,000. So when do you get back in? And if you sold 10K and you were waiting for 2,500 and it went down to 3,000, you didn't buy, and then it went up to 14K, well, then you'd be sad, right? Like, so getting shaken out in crypto can go a lot higher than you think and a lot lower than you think. And being shaken out sucks. So if you can not trade, it's probably helpful to you. I mean, HEX is designed to allow people to get a return on investment in HEX by just locking up their HEX. It doesn't take any electricity, doesn't take any computer connection, just to open your stake and close your stake, one connection each time. If you have that option, it might work out better for you than trying to mine, which nearly always sucks, or, trying to time the market, because these markets used to be easier. Now they're harder. They're acting very weird now, particularly because of the Chinese Ponzi thing. So it's always a Chinese Ponzi, either pumping or dumping it. And if that's the game, is there a Chinese Ponzi ramping up or is it dumping now? Last if you're in the West. I know last. And so if we know last, like, why should we be able to outperform other people competing against us in the market? It's not a good way to spend one's time. Trading is, if you win trading, you took someone else's money that didn't want you to have it. If you lose trading, then you got the same result 99% of people get, perhaps more. And so who really makes money? The exchanges. The exchanges get rich. So do you want to be part of that? Torturing some other guy if you win, or losing your sleep and your health and your money, and the harder you work, the more you lose. That all sucks. So I don't think it's a good way to spend your time. I'm reading the chat here. Forget them cowards, drive over them. Yeah, a lot of cowards to go around. Talk a lot of smack, get everything wrong. It's just embarrassing. I used to volunteer for this charity called the SNES Foundation, and it's my favorite charity. And they had another kind of partner charity that was the Methuselah Foundation, which had the M prize, which try and make an older mouse. If you can get your mouse to be older than other people's mice, then you win a prize. And so, I volunteered and shot some video for their annual event. And I put up a video, thanking YouTube for giving us the charity channel and all that. And then people put that video online and they're like, look, Richard Hart used to sell anti-aging crap. He's a scammer. I didn't sell any anti-aging stuff. What are you talking about? Like, I volunteered for a charity. I can't believe that 13 years later, I'm getting insulted for volunteering for a charity, for a non-profit foundation. Like, what is wrong with the internet? Like, people are so horrible and terrible. This blows my mind. The fact that someone could take a video of you volunteering for charity and then try and insult you with it is like, what? I don't know if I'm making any progress on the chat here. You guys are typing a lot quicker than I'm able to address this stuff. So people are talking about a bunch of YouTube channels getting strikes. Apparently the YouTube channels that are getting strikes all promoted a scam, apparently. And that's of low risk to my channel because I've never promoted a scam. So I've never done any type of, somebody pays me and then I promote their thing kind of crap. I've never accepted any type of money to advertise a specific thing. You see occasional referral links down at the bottom, but not because they reached out to make it happen, and not for anything that everyone else wasn't looking to. So my chance of having problems from linking to scams is very low because I haven't done it. What do people use HEX for? Well, I mean, currently I would see it as a speculative instrument, I guess, but there are people that are tipping other people in the chat room with it. So I guess it's kind of a affinity, AFFINITY. It's kind of an affinity program now because people are using it to tip. It's kind of a currency because people are using it to tip. It's doing the things cryptocurrencies are supposed to do. It's really working well. The people that talk a lot of crap about HEX have never used it. The people that do use it say very, very good things about it. So I'm very happy about that. What have I been working on, Richard? How do I answer that? I work a lot. I make sure that chat is run well. I don't know, man. That's that securities law thing, right? Can't give you any expectations of work. So I'm weary of telling you even what I have been doing because maybe you'll think that's work or something. So let's just say I sit around a lot. How's that? What does the HEX app do? Well, it's Bitcoin, except it pays stakers instead of miners. That's the easiest summary. If you want to get deeper, it's not Bitcoin. But for the normal Joe average person, you have an interface. You have an interface with a value in it. If you make your value go down, it's called sending. It makes someone else's value go up somewhere else. That's all it does. Now, if you lock your value so that you can't use it, then at some point you can run a function and that function will give you more of what you locked. So you lock some HEX, you wait a while, you unlock, and now you'll have more HEX. That's it. So you can either take your value and move it somewhere else, you can receive value from somebody, or you can lock your value and you'll get more later. And the longer you lock, the more you get. So it's kind of like a CD at the bank, kind of. CDs at the bank, in theory, involve some type of lending, maybe. And in our system, it's just, inflation. So it's kind of like virtual lending. Somebody types a bunch of stuff in Russian. I don't feel like translating it. Sorry, bro. You should have translated it for me before you pasted it. Richard, you didn't wear the chain with the hand grabbing money. Yeah, I figured I'd mix it up. I got a lot of jewelry I haven't worn in forever, like this very clunky looking Versace ring, which I don't even like because the face is all like melted looking, which is their new style, but I just dislike it greatly. Yeah, it's nice to wear some of the other stuff sometimes. I figured Christmas, mix it up. Why is there no cap on creation? Because in theory, there isn't any inflation if you're an average length, average size staker, because you're being paid the inflation. So in the HEX system, the only people that are actually diluted are the people that aren't staked or the undersized, under-lengthed, and they should be diluted. They're the ones that don't believe hard enough. They're the ones that don't want to tell the market what they'll do in the future through the truth engine of staking. Well, screw you guys. If you want to be able to dump the price whenever you want by selling, well, then you pay for the privilege, just like you do with the dollar or just like you do with any other currency where if you're sitting in the raw, currency that's not locked up or invested in anything, you're going to have inflation. I mean, that's the same thing in Bitcoin, by the way. Bitcoin's inflated around 4% or much, much, much more since the inflation rate cut in half twice over the 10 years that it's existed. Well, man, it's like, now here's something I don't get. This just occurred to me. So Bitcoin inflation rate drops in half every 4 years, which means that the third halvening should happen 12 years out. But we're having that halvening in a few months, and it was made in 2009. It's only been 10 years. So, check my math, but it seems like the halvening's happening a lot earlier than it should. maybe due to the hash rate always increasing and like front running the 2016 block retargeting algorithm. Huh. That's weird. Why are we having the halvening so early? You know, the halvening shouldn't happen for like another year beyond now. If you really wanted to have it happen every 4 years, that should be 12 years, which should be like 2021 instead of 2020. That just occurred to me. Interesting. I should tweet that if I remember it after the show. I'll tweet it now. Hold on a second, guys. Oh, we've got a guest. Hey, Brad, you're alive so that you know they can hear you if you speak. But you're not making any sound. You're not making any sound, mate. Let me see if I can find you here. Hello. How are you? You're live, Brad. Brad, say hello. I know you can hear me. I see my mic transmitting.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, just so you know, you're live on the channel. I'm going to turn your video on.
I gotta fix my audio here.
Okay. Well, I'm going to put you live on the channel. Nice hat.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you just fine.
All right. Yeah. Ho ho huddle. Merry
Ho, ho,
Rexmas.
Rectmas. The price is up. What? Why Rectmas? What do you mean?
I'm looking at the price of all the other stuff.
Oh. All right.
Is the price of HEX up?
It depends on where you bought it. If you bought it 1 sat, yeah, you're doing great. It's 2 sats, you're up 100%. But if you bought higher, maybe not. Let me change your zoom a little bit to move you up. Okay, you're good. All right, let me introduce you to everybody. Brad's a Bitcoin guy, and he's got a podcast, and he's stopping in to say hello. Why don't you tell him about you?
Yeah, I'm a Bitcoin maximalist, I guess you could say. But
right.
I'm putting my Season of Peace hat on here.
All right.
I'll put my Roger Ver on hat here and pretend that I can subscribe to Bitcoin forks or Bitcoin philosophy. And
okay.
you know, part of me is more of like an investor. And right. I came to the space because I saw Bitcoin, you could mine it on your computer, and that was pretty interesting to me at the time. I was running Facebook games, and I had some Facebook games where people were buying digital currency. And some people were spending a lot of money monthly on digital currency. So this was 2007 or so.
Right.
So when I saw Bitcoin, I instantly kind of saw the realization that people can give value to digital things.
Right.
And I was a gamer, so I had a nice GPU at the time.
What were you playing?
Battlefield type games.
All right. Nice.
Battlefield 2142, I think, was popular at the time.
Right.
It was a little earlier.
Battlefield was neat because you can drive the vehicles. Yeah. It was always a little bit cooler than Call of Duty from that perspective. Fun. So, Brad here.
So I came into the space like kind of like what a lot of people I think that are listening to your show came into the space through the incentives of like, wow, I can make money from magic internet money.
Right.
So yeah. Most maximalists are like really against everything because they just, I don't know if they don't understand that part of human psychology that, you know, Naval Ravikant was roasted on Twitter a couple of years ago for saying that there's like the freeloader incentive misalignment for new developers to come work on Bitcoin. Some new developers come work on Bitcoin because they feel like holders are freeloaders. And that's
Well, they
just
kind of
part of,
are.
yeah, I mean, that's just part of natural human psychology. If you're a really talented developer and you are motivated by something other than autonomy or mastery or purpose, then you may be motivated by financial reasons. And if you're motivated by financial reasons, you're obviously going to not want to be building value for someone else who's just sitting there being a freeloader as from their perspective. So he got roasted on Twitter, and I was just like, he's just saying what people have certain psychologies and certain things motivate them.
It's
And
true. I mean,
so
look, we're
I
we're
always find myself in the middle of all this, like all these debates. I'm more of like a devil's advocate, so I like to be skeptical.
right. So I think that the reason that I know of you is because you're talking about how you bought HEX you bought a quarter of a Bitcoin worth of HEX, and now it's worth a third of the value or something like that.
Yeah,
I think it
so
was the math.
I roughly heard about you for the last couple of years, but I just never paid any attention because you were a Bitcoin maximalist, and
Right.
I don't really pay that much attention to
Yep.
other sort of maximalists.
Yep.
I get the narrative. I'm totally subscribed to Bitcoin is going to be $100,000 one day. Like I'm totally in that camp. So I like to hang out more with like debating Bcashers and
Right.
like Ethereum people and altcoiners. And
Yeah.
Siri keeps going off there. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
anyways, I never paid attention to you. And then I heard a
right.
little bit about HEX, Bitcoin HEX,
Yep.
but I never gave it a second thought because it's like, whatever, it's just another fork coin. And then
Right.
I saw there's just all this drama starting up with you and like everybody calling you a scammer. And,
Yeah.
part of me is like, I'll join in on that, on the fun, and call you Dick Shart and like Rick Fart and all these things because it's funny.
Nice. Yeah.
But, I am always taking the argument that if we call everything a scam, that isn't a
Loses meaning.
scam losing its all meaning, and then
Yeah.
you miss the real scams like BitConnect and
Yep.
OneCoin and stuff like that.
Well, you
So
actually become a scammer as well. If you misidentify something as a scam, you are a scammer. Like you need to be accurate in your accusations. If you falsely accuse people, you're a piece of shit. Like you need to get it right. So like here's I have what I believe is the most advanced analysis of what is a scam and what is not a scam verbally, linguistically. And so I believe scams require fraud or lies or bad intention. I think that's what you need to have in order to be a scam. I think a lot of things can be overpriced or bad business ideas, and that's
yeah,
most new businesses. Most new businesses
look,
fail.
like I don't think I'm qualified to like say what is and what isn't a scam, and like obviously you can't prove if something like this is a scam. It's like,
Yeah, you can.
yeah, I don't even
Sure
really
you
care.
can. I think you can. I think you can tell what's a
Yeah,
scam and not.
well, it looks like scammy. That's the thing. Like there's projects that look scammy, and then of
Yeah.
course you're just gonna say, yeah, that's a scam, unless you're
Right.
part of the community or whatever, and you're like in Wolong's tribe or whatever, and
Right.
you're like trying to pump the bag, then
Yeah.
obviously you're gonna be
So let me
parroting
tell
the
you.
other
I'll
narrative.
tell you what looks scammy versus not scammy. Does it say that the price is going to go up?
Well, listen,
If
I'll
you,
tell you the reason you asked me, like, you heard of me because I bought some of the HEX.
yeah.
I'll tell you straight up, like, I'm telling you, I never heard about this project aside from all Bitcoin HEX Bitcoin, whatever. It's another
Yeah.
fork. And then I saw this drama started sort of happen. And I heard a friend of mine who had sold his business for 8 figures. He had a SaaS business, and he's like got wrecked in 2017 buying ICOs. Had some gains on Bitcoin, but mostly he got wrecked on ICOs and lost, I don't know, pretty significant amount of money
Yep.
doing ICOs. And he wasn't really
Mm-hmm.
paying too much attention to the markets. He was just caught up in the FOMO like everyone else.
Yep.
And I get, I'm a FOMO sapien. I totally understand.
Homo sapien. That's a good one.
Cryptocurrency forces the evolution of the greed and fear cycle and turns us all into FOMO sapiens. I mean, I totally understand that. I have it deep within me.
Right. So,
So,
if you want, I think I can make you feel better about your HEX situation.
well, let me just tell you. So
Yeah.
I didn't go and read the white paper or whatever there is. I just saw, oh, Peter McCormick my friend texted me and he's like, Peter McCormick. He didn't even know who Peter McCormick was. He was just like, Peter McCormick went on Richard Hart's show and Richard Hart destroyed him. And, because he was making fun of him earlier in the week. And I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Okay, I got to pay some attention to this. and I didn't know anything about the inflation or any of that stuff or any of the bonuses or whatever. I was just like, okay, listen, there's a big community apparently of all these people that are following this hex thing. I don't want to miss out in case it does moon. I'm going to get a little bit and then I can actually pay attention. And so I bought a bunch of it, 8 million coins for 0.25 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And obviously it got wrecked because I didn't know that there's all this inflation happening and all this stuff. I wasn't really paying attention to the fundamentals of
I bought
coin.
Bitcoin when it was was at 30. I bought on the Wired article that they're using it in the darknet, and I bought with a lot of other people, and we helped make the $30 top together. We did that. So when you bought, you helped make the problem that you don't like. You helped create that ratio or that price or that entry that you didn't like because you just did what everyone else did. So no raindrop thinks that they're the storm. No raindrop thinks that they're the flood. But you were just as responsible for that as everyone else. Does that make sense to you? There's no other party that made that price but you.
Yeah, the thing I guess I'm trying to say is that, like, projects like this, it's hard for a noob to, like, understand everything. It's so complicated. Like, it's hard for me to understand, and I've been in this space forever. And I was caught up in it a little bit, and I was like, oh, I'll get some just in case, and then I didn't realize there's going to be like trillions of these things after like a couple of years or something. So it turns out I got trillions. This minuscule little drop in the bucket of hex coins.
Yeah, but look, man, so I got into Bitcoin at 30 and it went down to a penny, and then I held that shit, and then it went up to 20,000. It did on Mt. Gox. It went down to a penny because it got hacked.
Well, I mean, that was
and they rolled the trades back.
I think the lowest it got was $2.
Well, it went down to a penny, but then they rolled the trades back. But if you were sitting there watching it, it happened. Just because they rolled the trades back didn't mean it didn't happen. You know?
Yeah, but I think coins get like crazy wick up and down all the time in exchanges, right? That's just like
Well, yeah, but that shit liquidates you, bro. So you can't say like wicks don't matter. Like that would have been an entry, or it would have been a liquidation. Those wicks matter just as much as anything else.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Like you can buy at the top, you can buy at the bottom. Like I really do believe that people that bought $19,500 Bitcoin in December 2017, if they just hold it for like 4 or 5 years, it's going to be higher than what it was when they bought it. So I can relate with your logic on markets and cryptocurrencies. But I'm wondering, like, I want to actually learn a little bit about this, if it's a good investment or a bad investment.
Okay.
I don't care about securities laws. Like I listened to that 7-hour epic episode you had with Tone and the lawyers.
Yep.
And I'm like, come on, like I don't want to hear about the security shit. Like quit trying to trap them. Like leave that for later or whatever.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I get why they're trying to do that because that's whatever, that's their thing. But I don't give a shit about like stock market and
so I think I can answer your question if you want. Yeah. So in my opinion, what makes a good investment is something that goes up in price. That's my opinion. I think if you want social missions or ecological missions or redistribution of wealth, those are all different things. But for me, what makes something a good investment for me is the price going up. Yeah. So in crypto, how can you tell whether the price is going to go up or not? It's not.
Well, I think it feels like, and let me ask you some questions because I don't have too much time. And Siri, stop. I'm not trying to get you on here. Shut up, Siri. Yeah, I only have like 20 minutes.
Sure, go ahead.
The holiday party and all. So I want to see something I invest in price go up too, and whether it's so I can, if I feel like this is a scam, I want to buy some coins so I can dump on the scam when it moons or whatever. Like
I'm not sure how ethical that is, but okay.
Well, I mean, that's how some people think. That's what the big argument for Bcash was in 2017. People were debating over whether they should claim it and dump it when Roger was pumping it on Coinbase and the exchanges.
It's actually a hard question. I wrote a guide on how to sell it at 19%.
Morally, it makes sense that if you think something's a scam, why would you want to have the scammers have more money? So take their money.
Yeah,
and that kind of makes sense to me. If they're going to pump it, you got some, dump it on them so that you can get some of their money.
I know
And
what you
it
mean.
kind of works a little bit in reverse in a weird way, in the way that you were describing it on one of the shows. You were saying that people are going to get scammed. So in order to prevent them from getting scammed, you have to take their money first.
If
Logically, I follow you there, but I don't know how moral that is.
well, it depends on whether what you're doing is a good thing or not. Like if you said, "Hey, buy the S&P 500 index," which is widely regarded as the best investment possible with the lowest risk, then maybe people would stand behind that. And then the question is, what other things that may show higher rewards but have larger drawdowns, like crypto, right? So crypto is the highest appreciating asset class that's ever existed, but you're going to draw down 85 or 95% no matter what you buy, unless it's a stable coin. So it's almost always the case that you're going to have a 85 to 95% drawdown.
Well, didn't the BitShares stablecoin get wrecked?
I think it did.
I think there was a couple of them. When they don't have liquidity and they sort of decouple from the market, they get wrecked.
Over collateralization only eats so much risk.
Well, I mean, there's also a really serious point to be made for decentralization, because eGold was kind of like a stable coin, and eGold got confiscated and shut down by the feds when it started to succeed.
Yep. Yeah,
that's why I don't really get any of these gold-backed coins.
I also don't get them. You're just adding extra counterparties. The token doesn't mean anything. They could look. You could be like, "Hey, here's my token. Give me gold," and be like, not really. No,
okay,
thanks.
So let me ask you some questions about HEX, because in terms of like, forget whether it's a scam or not, forget whether it's a security or not. I don't care about any of that stuff.
All right.
I mean, for this conversation.
I get it. I understand.
So I've been getting roasted too a lot by Bitcoiners the last.
Because they don't want you to buy what they didn't buy.
Oh, no, I think it's because legitimately they believe this is a scam and you're scamming people, and they don't want me to like legitimize it by coming on here or like whatever. But I'm not blind to the fact that the majority of the people on the planet are susceptible to fear of missing out. And the reason why they mostly come into Bitcoin is because they see articles that say, "Oh, look at the people getting rich off of Bitcoin." And when they come here, they think, "Oh, look, there's Ripple priced at 20 cents. Like maybe that'll go to $10,000 too." And there's that whole, and they don't look at the total supply of the coins and who holds.
I don't think those two last things that you mentioned matter for shit.
Well, sometimes they do. Sometimes
I don't think they do, man. I don't think they do.
I've invested in quite a few. Well, Stellar and Ripple are separate examples because they have a lot of connections and a lot of money, and they can pump it, and I don't, honestly, I got a bit of a blind spot with Ripple, because I got my first Ripple from Jed himself. Like he traded me 1 Bitcoin worth of Ripple when he was still one of the co-founders. And I mean, I liked what Ripple was doing in the early days. They were kind of like a totally separate project than what they are now. But I just felt like it was against the ethos of cryptocurrency, and it wasn't true to the mission of what Bitcoin's mission is.
No, they're different projects for sure. So
I just never really paid attention to it, and then obviously it went up like crazy.
We're talking about theoretical, speculative. We're talking about technical and fundamental analysis for the purpose of predicting price appreciation based on certain principles. So I believe.
Say that again. I'm kind of lost you there.
Yeah, we want to know what's going to pump and why, and we're just throwing shit at the wall trying to guess. And I'm going to throw some guesses at you. XLM had 80% of the coins in a foundation. They even got hacked for like 1.5% of their coins, and just burnt the foundation's 1.5% so the hacker could keep his 1.5%.
So they got hacked? I thought it was an inflation bug.
Well, that's what inflation bugs are. Anyone can print as many free coins as they want, is all that means. So if you want to call that a hack or an inflation bug or vulnerability, or when someone executes a vulnerability, it's usually called a hack.
Yeah, and nobody cared that happened, because
they should have.
Either they didn't notice or well, like that brings me to the Ethereum.
Ethereum's never had an inflation bug, and no currency on Ethereum has ever.
You disconnected yourself when you moved there.
Nah, I doubt it. I'm probably still okay.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So the biggest, I am one of the largest proponents of advertising inflation bugs as the biggest risk to any cryptocurrency. And I wrote a tweet that shows XLM's inflation bug, Bitcoin's 2 inflation bugs, Monero's inflation bug. Every other fork that was a fork of Bitcoin like Monero was is inflation bug. And these are the worst critical vulnerabilities you could possibly have in a cryptocurrency, where anyone can mint as many free coins as they want. And they've happened to a ton of different cryptocurrencies, and they've never happened to Ethereum. So in the real world, the worst possible vulnerability that could possibly happen.
Yeah, but I saw a funny tweet someone had made that said Ethereum is an inflation bug.
It's not true. It's stupid. It's very stupid. How are you like?
I think it's funny. I think it kind of makes sense. Like, nobody knows the cap supply of Ethereum is continually inflating.
Why would you want a cap supply when new human beings are born every day? The new humans don't deserve any fucking money. They're just born into servitude because the old fucks locked up all the money first. It's not fair. Well, because it's not good.
Yeah, because you're talking about Keynesian versus Austrian, right? And
Keynesian is superior. Keynesian is superior to Austrian.
But if you're talking about pumpamentals or FOMOnomics, then you want to have a scarce supply because
that's not true.
More demand.
No, that is not fucking true. What drives demand? So the people have these theories about price that I believe are 100% wrong. They think the ownership structure matters. It's not true. They think decentralization matters. It's not true. They think the inflation rate matters. It's not fucking true. It depends
on the use case. If you think that this is money, like uncensorable, money for anybody to use and resist governments, and decentralization is the most important.
Right. So if you think that low inflation rate is the most important thing, Lumens inflates 1% a year. Bitcoin inflates more than that, and Bitcoin will inflate more than that after the fucking halvening. So sell your Bitcoin and buy fucking Lumens if that's your investment thesis.
But it's predictable that over like 100 years, Bitcoin's inflation is going to be so much lower than anything else. No,
it's not. It's not. Yeah, there are other currencies that don't inflate at all. I don't think XRP inflates at all. Does XRP even inflate at all?
Well, when they unlock it from their
that's not inflation.
Free mine or whatever.
That's not inflation. I mean, they've only got 60% of
supply on the market.
Right. So I'm telling you that this concept, look, the only thing that moves the price is people buying and selling. If other people don't even know the fucking percentages of who owns what, that shit is irrelevant. No one fucking cares.
I know, but listen, like Ripple has the same model that you're talking about, and Ripple has the majority of the coins, and Jed has been unlocking coins for like years, and he's probably almost finished, but look at they tried to manipulate the issuance and the price and everything of Ripple.
In 2017, Ripple shit on Bitcoin. In 2017, Ripple shit on Bitcoin. Hard.
Yeah, but then it's shit on itself through 2018 and 19.
Yeah, I understand that, but the question is, where did you buy and where did you sell?
I know, but you can't tell the average noob that they're going to be able to buy the bottom and sell the top.
Oh yeah, well, how can you tell them to buy Bitcoin then when it drops 85% every 3 fucking years? So this is the problem.
Because over long time frames, it continues to go up, number go up over long time frames.
Sure.
How long are you in this for? Are you going to be in this for a lifetime, or are you going to be in this for like a 4 years or 2 years or something?
My position is very clear that XLM went from nowhere to like number 7 of the top 10 with 80% in a foundation.
But market cap is market cap doesn't make any it doesn't make any real sense. Like going by that leaderboard, you might it's ridiculous. Look at
what do you want to go by then? Yeah, it might suck, but like, okay, so what's the better thing that we'll use? And we'll use that instead.
Well, there's what's that one
coin market
coin market book or whatever.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
By liquidity and other factors that make more sense than market cap.
Coin market cap just added a liquidity measurement as well.
But there's no sense at all to say that BSV is the number 6 or whatever coin, and Bcash too, because if you count all the coins that someone else mined or got on purpose voluntarily in the market cap that will never be touched on those chains unless they fork in a change to steal the coins. I agree with you that market cap then it shouldn't count towards the market cap. It's at least 2x inflated, probably 4x inflated.
I agree with you. I agree with you entirely.
And plus, if you go based on like the how little security there is on those coins, like BCH doesn't even need mining anymore. They have checkpoints.
Hey, I hear you. And I'll tell you what else. The fucking I think that if someone hasn't touched their coins since they got created 9 years ago, they probably shouldn't be in the fucking circulating supply either. So this idea
That's a
that you
tough
can
one though. That's a tough one though, man. Because in
bullshit.
Bitcoin, somebody got those on purpose, and you can't
That
tell me
do
that
you,
because I haven't touched my coins
I
in
know what
9
the word
years.
circulating means. I know what the word circulating means. It means movement. That's the definition of the word circulating. And I know
Circulating
if a fucking
supply.
coin's never moved, it ain't fucking circulating.
It's not circulating, but it still counts as like economic value for the
If you're
total
gonna
value of the
fix the
network.
fucking, if you're gonna fix the way that people are doing market caps, you might as well actually fix it. You can't count
Yeah, but
Satoshi's dead ass coins in the fucking market cap. It's not
that's
fair.
that's true. I feel like, some of these coins that if we find a way to like cryptographically like identify them as dead, then yeah, they should probably be removed from the total supply
Yeah, but
calculations.
then again, why does market cap even matter? I mean, is that like it's like people talk
Market
about
cap is a
liquidity.
vanity metric.
Exactly, like liquidity. Bitch, you don't need liquidity. You're broke. You don't need to sell 100 million fucking dollars of coin in a single order.
Yeah, but
Like,
if you're a little shit coin and you're attracting all these retail investors, maybe $1,000 is going to dump the price. So
yeah,
liquidity
sure.
does
Yeah,
matter
but I mean,
for
come on.
like
Amongst the top
altcoins.
10, like, are you enabled to trade in BCH because you need Bitcoin's liquidity? Like, no, that shit works fine for 99% of people. So
Yeah, for some of the coins, I mean, there's a website, I can't remember it offhand now, but it does show like
it's
market depth.
coinmarketbook.cc.
Coinmarketbook.cc. Yeah, that's it. It shows like how much
I know.
market support there is,
And they have a
and
liquidity
Bitcoin obviously
measurement on
is the.
CoinMarketCap as well. At least they said that they added it. It was in their news releases that CoinMarketCap also added a liquidity measurement to help unfuck the
Yeah, I didn't see it yet, but I
yeah.
saw that they're going to add it, which is good. I'd like to
And
see
I
more.
believe Masari also has that, but it's a paid product now. The Masari on-chain FX guys also have a liquidity thing. So
So
look,
I guess I'm just saying that like I don't see the value of, except for the Hollywood indie success story, equivalents of having the majority of the supply controlled by an entity or off the market. Because in most cases, what we've seen through this 2017, 2018, 2019 market,
uh-huh.
that doesn't work.
Right. So
Like,
first
show
of
me an
all,
example where that's worked in the
okay,
last 2 years.
sure. Bitcoin has 42% of its entire supply in under 2,000 addresses, and most people have more than one address. So maybe that's
Right.
1,500 people. So if you don't
Yeah, but
like,
you're talking about the Gini coefficient, the wealth
not exactly,
distribution.
but kind of,
The
yeah.
distribution of wealth in
That is
Bitcoin
one way
is
to
pretty.
measure it,
It's
yes.
it's worse than like
Nearly any
ideal,
other
but
currency in the
it's
universe,
it's
yes.
well. So for Bitcoin, it's like 0.6 or something like that, and for the dollar, it's like 0.5. So it's not
Mm,
necessarily that worse.
dude, I don't think your numbers are right. I just told you
Dude,
that
like, do you know
42% of
how?
the,
Okay, yeah, do you know how much people in the U.S. How many rich people own like what percentage of wealth? It's
yeah,
insanely unbalanced, especially over the last 10 years. It's
like,
gotten worse.
I think we're
Bitcoin's
talking
getting
about everything
better.
but hex. We should get to hex before we run
Over
out of
okay,
time.
but over time, Bitcoin's Gini coefficient, the wealth distribution is increasing in a
It's
good
getting
way.
worse,
It's
not
getting
better.
better. No,
It's
no,
not
it's
getting
getting
better.
better. You look at the
It's not getting
dude, like
better.
I'll give you a link. You can look at it. It's actually getting better. Plus, you're not even counting the
No,
exchanges, which have millions of users.
I am
Exchanges
counting them.
hold
I
no, because you're talking about 2,000 addresses. One of those addresses is probably Coinbase's that
yes,
has
but
5% of the entire
you're
Bitcoin supply.
confusing the word control and own. The control
Well,
is in the
legally, those
exchanges.
people. I know, but we're talking about theoretically, like it's not decentralized. It's the wealth is concentrated to the
So
top, but
so
really, there's
are you
millions
so
of
let
people
me
sitting in one of those addresses.
so hold on. So you're telling me that your favorite cryptocurrency is the one that has 42% in under 2,000 addresses and only has 2.8 million users with over $1,000 in a wallet and has extremely low search volume, lower, like the number of retailers that accept it is less than 2 years
And
ago. The on-chain volume is less than 2 years ago. The number of new users signing up is less than 2 years ago. Has not had a technology upgrade in 2 years.
are you talking about Bitcoin?
Yes, I am talking about Bitcoin.
Well,
65% of mining is in China. And this is your
okay,
pinnacle for the best that can be done. That's the best that can be done. And
I think so. I
I don't
think
think
so
so.
because I tell you why. Because humans go in fear and greed cycles, and you're talking about a cycle that's going to repeat again. Bitcoin's going to be on the top of people's minds again at some point soon. And it's not going to be people searching for Ethereum or Litecoin
I don't
or
think so,
whatever.
man.
They're going to be searching Bitcoin because they're going to see Bitcoin went up.
You understand Bitcoin only
$20,000.
pumped from 3K to 14K because a Chinese Ponzi pumped it. You understand that the bottom was made by the PlusToken Ponzi.
No, that's not true.
That's
not
true.
true.
It's provably true. It's provably true.
I thought the Plus token was an Ethereum Ponzi, and it just got Bitcoin from people.
No. The PlusToken Ponzi was so strong and dumped so much real money into fucking crypto that they pumped Ethereum and EOS and Bitcoin. And they have 1% of all Bitcoin. The PlusToken Ponzi owns 1% of all Bitcoin.
Well, it shows something about the liquidity and the depth of the market then, because those PlusToken people have been dumping hundreds of millions of dollars on the market for the last month.
They've been dumping about 1,500 coins a day, which is equal to what the miners get. So they basically doubled the miner dumping.
And we've gone down in price, so it's not like the end of the world. We're able to soak it up. There's real demand.
You're not soaking it up. You're down 55% from your peak, which is something that never happened in 2017.
I mean, is it surprising that Bitcoin's volatile?
Yes, but this is my point to you, is that we're talking about the qualitative value of Bitcoin, and I'm telling you the fucking price only pumped because a Ponzi pumped it. They pumped it so hard.
I don't think that's true, though, because at the same time, Turdemeester wrote that big, long article that...
Turdemeester's a retard.
Went out.
He's not a good economist, and he's not a good trader.
A fair assessment.
He is not a good economist, and he is not a good trader.
You seen his trades?
Bro, if you publish a fucking newsletter article, you're not a good trader. Good traders shut the fuck up and
Adamant
trade.
Research.
They don't have time to fucking type little articles.
So for people who are listening to this, they should actually go look at Adamant Research's work and make up their own mind, because I don't think it's not true to say that he's full of shit and whatever, because he's really smart and talented, and he was on Preston Fish's podcast, The Investor.
Everyone that's wrong about economics is really smart. Everyone that's wrong about economics is super. He
called the
smart.
bottom. I mean, he called the bottom. That newsletter goes out to all the big major funds, and like he was making the rounds, and then the price started to go up way faster than he thought. So
if he didn't know about the PlusToken Ponzi, then he called the wrong bottom for the wrong fucking reason.
Well, maybe you got some point there that PlusToken.
Do you know how many billions of real cash they had to buy in order to keep $1 billion for themselves as a fucking exit scam? And that's just the Bitcoin. They got 80 million of fucking Ethereum too. They also got however many million of EOS too. They scammed so hard and put so many billions in fiat into crypto that they got to keep a fucking billion when they were done. Yeah. Do you know how much billions you got to fucking buy to give to people to pump the fucking Ponzi to keep $1 billion?
I get what you're saying, but that's not the only thing that was going for Bitcoin at the time. There's still...
Bro, CME launch.
Look at the
CME
Google
launch.
searches. Look at the Google searches. Yes. It went up. It spiked. It wasn't because of PlusToken.
That's a fucking that's post facto. The searches pump. You can't trade the Google search volume. You can. It only moves after the price moves.
It's an
never
indicator.
Before it.
Yes,
it's a fucking lagging indicator that just says what actually happened. It's just looking at the price chart.
I don't know about that. Like you're trying to say that PlusToken was the only reason it went up, but I'm looking at the fundamentals and like the semantics.
Yes, but you're looking at a lagging indicator that goes up after the price goes up and goes up after the price goes down.
I don't think it's fair to say that PlusToken pumped the price up. I think it was just another little cycle.
How many billions of Bitcoin do you have to fucking buy before you're allowed to say that it pumped the price? Like, they bought like 4 billion of fucking Bitcoin. You know how much that is? The whole fucking market cap of Bitcoin is only like 160. And there's like a 20 to 1 or 40 to 1 ratio of price increase in the market cap due to actual fiat buying.
But that's that's not that much, is it? Like when you look at the daily volume of Bitcoin, it's in the billions every day.
Bro, the 14K top was when their founders got arrested. Same day. So the 14K top was when their founders got arrested. It's the same day.
Okay, so there's $24 billion in volume today. So they bought $4 billion worth of Bitcoin. So,
dude,
I mean,
how much volume do you think you could make with $4 billion of spot trading it? Look, if you think Bitcoin is the best thing since sliced bread, even though almost no retailers accept it, even though it's been around for 10 years, even though 65% of mining is in China, even though the only reason the price goes up apparently is because Chinese Ponzi's fucking buy it, backed launches, price dumps, CME launches, price dumps, no technical upgrades. Like, at what point do you realize that you can do better?
First, though, like Chinese miners, because you got a bunch of points there, but I think Bitcoin is the most liquid,
Sure.
the most used, the most secure.
I don't know about most. It is not the most used. 100%.
It is the most used by dollar value.
Nope.
If you go look at the stats,
Nope.
it
it's
is
not true. Tether shits on it. Tether shits on it.
Tether's not a cryptocurrency.
It's what people are fucking using. It's what people are using.
Tool. Tether's just a tool. It's a trading tool.
Dude.
It's not a cryptocurrency. Are you serious?
It's not a cryptocurrency, but it does more volume than everything else. It's fucking what people are using.
Tether today is at 20. Okay, it is today. It's 28.
It always is, man. It's always.
No, it's only recently crossed.
What are you looking at? Are you looking at CoinMarketCap?
CoinMarketCap
Yeah.
volume.
So here's the volume on Bitcoin, 23 billion.
So you're looking at a tool that should not even be included in this discussion, because you know what they're doing with Tether? They're buying Bitcoin. So that actually should count towards Bitcoin's volume.
I hope they're not.
They're trading Bitcoin with it.
Because if the price goes down a Bitcoin, then they're fucking insolvent, right? So like, I mean,
how did I get my face?
Look,
there we go.
If you like Bitcoin, congrats. I think we can do better. I really, truly think we can do better. I know that there are things that work that Bitcoin doesn't have that I see working for us in HEX. In HEX, we've got new.
You said a couple other things though, which I just don't agree with you on,
Sure,
like upgrades, technical upgrades. There's tons of work being done right now on Lightning Network, on Taproot.
Lightning is not Bitcoin.
Nor and all this other stuff.
Lightning is not Bitcoin.
Second layers are Bitcoin.
No, they are fucking not.
Yeah, Liquid Network, Sidechains, Rootstock.
Well, then Ethereum's a sidechain of Bitcoin then, if you're going to use that definition.
I mean, Fluffy Pony says Monero's a sidechain of Bitcoin. So
I'm a sidechain of Bitcoin too.
Roger thinks Bitcoin Cash is Bitcoin. So,
dude,
I mean, if you're going to go with all that logic, then everything's a sidechain of Bitcoin.
You had 2 inflation bugs in Bitcoin. You have no bug bounty program.
There was never 2 inflation bugs. There was an inflation bug that never got exploited, that we hard forked away from in like 2013 to fix, but it wasn't exploited.
The last inflation bug happened about a year and a half ago.
2018 there was the one that Almany found from the Bitcoin Unlimited team.
Right.
But that's contentious, because in the report Blockstream put out, they said that he only reported the node crash bug and they found the inflation bug. And
I don't give a fuck who found it that much. I just know that Ethereum has never had any of those problems, and Bitcoin has had them twice. Well, don't you understand how shitty that is? But anyone could have printed as many free coins as they want. Anyone could have printed as many free coins. Yes, they could. They could not have. That's the definition of the bug.
Dude, it wasn't like a bug that just allowed anybody to run a smart contract variable. No, it wasn't. You had to crash the nodes, and then you had to.
That was unrelated. There was 2 bugs that happened at the same time. There was 2 bugs that happened at the same time. The one that they publicly released was the denial of service bug. But in actuality, behind the scenes, they were actually patching the other fucking problem they found, which is the mint as many free coins as you want bug. No, and they solved them both at the same time.
But it was only that your node would have seen the inflated.
Nope. No.
Yeah.
No.
There was the crash bug and the inflation bug, and then it was only.
I'm gonna read you the fucking release. Like, I'll read it to you.
Yeah, it allowed you, if you had an unpatched node, to mine invalid coins and like create coins from nothing that the node would see as Bitcoin. But if you upgraded your node, you weren't going to fall for it. So if you accepted the coins,
if you patch a bug, the bug goes away. But if you didn't know that you needed to patch the bug and someone executed it instead of responsibly disclosing it, like bro, the worst possible critical failure that could ever fucking happen was found in the software that you support fucking twice, executed once, and they had to roll back the chain in 2010, and just happened again in 2018 because it's fucking spaghetti code with no audits and no bug bounty program, but you don't see a problem with that. It's the worst possible situation that could possibly exist.
The blockchain is the bug bounty program. What do you mean there's no bug bounty program? There's a financial incentive for everybody. That guy, those Bitcoin Cash developers. Okay, well, kind of it is, though, because the Bitcoin Cash developers even said in the Reddit post that they were like, we could have used this to short the market and given it to Bitmain or something like that, but we didn't. So give us some props, give us some money, whatever.
And
I'm thinking like, I know, and I was thinking like, you know what, that's true. Like they didn't exploit that code, they didn't short it, they didn't use it to their advantage. But then I was also thinking, like, the actual amount of effort and illegal thing that would have happened, and like risk of going to jail or whatever. Dude, are you kidding me?
Who the fuck's ever gone to jail in crypto, man? I hear this shit all the time. People talk about going to jail in crypto. I want you to name me one motherfucker in the history of crypto to ever go to jail for crypto. Let me know.
Ross Albright?
He didn't do no crypto, man. He didn't do no crypto either. They did shit that they shouldn't have done. It wasn't crypto. That's what I'm saying.
Like, well, okay, so if this guy inflates Bitcoin, sends fake Bitcoin to someone, some business.
No, but you see, that's the problem, is that it's not fake. It's not fake.
It is fake. It's fake.
It's not. If code is law, and we did an immutable, trustless system where we don't need people, we use math. If the fucking math says that your coins are real, they're fucking real.
Okay, you're going to use the code is law argument with me when you're defending Ethereum? Are you serious?
Yo, look, I wouldn't have supported that fucking fork. I wouldn't have supported that fork. Yeah, the people that used Ethereum used it wrongly. And I could describe to you exactly how they used it wrongly.
Okay, so what's more important? Decentralization, censorship resistance, government resistance,
none of those things. Absolutely
DeFi?
None of those things.
Is
what's
DeFi
most important? What's most important is security. And security has nothing to do with any of those things. Security means making modular code. So in Bitcoin, when you try and make the networking stack faster, you get a consensus bug that anyone can print the fucking free coins. That's what happened. That bug was added. The bug didn't exist, and then it was added because they wanted to make the networking stack better.
It was added. Yeah, it was added.
But in HEX, you can't do that shit. You can't do that in HEX.
It was extremely difficult, though, to actually exploit that bug, and you would have exposed yourself to legal risks.
No, you wouldn't.
Sued. And getting
I don't think
arrested.
That's the case.
Dude, seriously, like if you had done it to some guy in North Korea or something, yeah, then there's no legal risk.
I can't believe that you're using the law to defend your consensus network. Like, hey, don't break our consensus network. We'll sue you. Like,
it's risk exposure. It's not you're misunderstanding what I'm saying, or I'm explaining it wrong. I'm not saying that the Bitcoin people are going to sue you for exploiting the code. I'm saying the guy that receives the fake Bitcoin is going to sue you for sending a code, like hacking him and sending him fake Bitcoin, because it's not real.
I think that you have a bag of Bitcoin and you want its price to go up, and you're unwilling to evaluate the technical merits.
I got a bag of HEX right now too, man. Like I'm like,
I hope that you're as blind about like listen, if your shit has a critical vulnerability, they don't write the word critical in the front of it for fucking giggles. They're not just like, oh, ha ha ha. They've got other words they can write in the front.
It was a serious bug. Totally a serious bug.
The worst.
I'm not disagreeing with you there.
And Ethereum's never had one, and Bitcoin's had two, and HEX is less likely than either of those to have
but that's that's disingenuous to say that Ethereum has never had like equivalent bugs.
It hasn't.
Because of parity. And
parity was somebody using it. Those are people that's like saying cars kill people. No, drivers fucking kill people. So,
yeah, but they totally broke the consensus of what.
Yeah, and they can't do it again. Yes, they did that once, and they can't do it again.
They could do it again, but they decided not to. They decided not to.
If they could, they would do it for Gavin Wood, who wrote Solidity, and they would bail out Parity, and they would bail out Polkadot, but they're not.
Gavin Wood got bailed out. You like to say he didn't get bailed out, but he got bailed out.
Tell me more.
How much money did he raise for Polkadot, or whatever the hell that other project was?
I don't know,
like $100 million
or something. I think there was like 30 or 60 in Polkadot, and there was like 150 in the multi-sig hack.
Yeah, there was a lot of money. But then they treat him like a rock star, and then they give him all their money. And
I don't treat him like a rock star, and I'm not sure anyone did give him money after that. Listen,
they did, man. Like he got like another. He raised like another $100 million for his next project. I'm pretty sure.
I don't even know what his next project is. Look,
I'm pretty sure.
Here's what we have: the parity multi-sig hack,
and they did a thing. They did this other ICO where for parity and Gavin Wood, they were just gonna do like what you're doing with HEX, where if you register your coin, lock up your coins for a certain amount of time, you get a bunch of these coins.
I see a lot of people knocking off HEX now, by the way.
No, maybe it was in that time. But what they did was for parity, they added a feature where if you didn't have access to your coins, you could still get the coins because they're locked up in the smart contract. So they were like, oh, well, I guess we'll also add this, but you get half the rate.
Yeah.
So they gave him a bunch of these other shit coins for his $100 million worth of locked up.
I don't like the whole give someone money and hope shit. HEX launched fully functional and complete. That's the opposite of an ICO. HEX is fully functional and complete.
Okay,
with
so
no
let's
promises
talk
of
about
any
HEX.
work whatsoever. It's the
Let's
opposite
talk
of an
about
ICO.
HEX. So honestly, I got to tell you, I watched the whole like 6-hour thing yesterday, and it was just, I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe that you got them to spend 2 hours after you got off the phone with the discussing the tokenomics of HEX.
They're
Like,
going to
what the
continue
hell?
to do that. HEX is so interesting that people will continue to do that. It's literally the most interesting thing going on in crypto right now, easily.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, it's just
Tell me, what else is going on?
Like social experiment.
That's what currencies are. Currencies is a shared fiction. We're going to pretend that this thing is worth money, and then we're going to trade real goods and services for it. That's all currencies. That's what they all are.
I wanted to get to the point of like, is this going to moon or is it not going to moon, or should I have some?
Sure.
Should I not have
So
some?
let's
I think I think I made the wrong choice in buying it when I did, because I didn't realize how crazy the inflation was. So can you just like TLDR, like Eli 5 me, how much this is going to inflate, and like how does an average person not lose all their value for inflation, because this thing sounds like it inflates a lot.
Yeah. So inflation negatively affects price when people sell, right? Here's some new coins. We sell, and that pushes the price down. HEX has got 85% of its coins locked up right now, about 84%. So.
Okay, well, that didn't work for Decred.
I don't think anyone else has had in the 80s. I've not seen that. I think I've seen 60s.
I mean, yeah, Decred's 60 to 80% of the coins are staked, and you can't just unstake Decred day one. You got to wait like 7 days or something to get it unstaked.
That's a big difference. In HEX, there's people that have staked 5,555 days, 3,650 days.
That didn't work for Polymath, because the investors in Polymath got the option to lock their coins up for a year, 2 years, and 3 years to get 25, 50%, and 100% bonus. And I locked up mine for a year, and I got wrecked.
Look, this stuff just puts energy and shifts things. You still have to have other things, right? So like a multiplier, a force multiplier requires there to be force to be multiplied. So if you have no demand and no product market fit and no new users and nobody fucking buying, I don't care what type of Rube Goldberg bullshit machine you invent to try and cover that up. You need actual utility, you need actual demand, you need actual user onboarded, and you need fucking more people pressing the green button than the red button if you want the price to go up.
So for users, like, totally makes sense. Like projects like Decred and Storm Token was another one. They did this big ICO and then they didn't sell it out. So they had like a significant amount of coins, like 50 to 60% of their coins that they didn't sell. So they did this thing where they called it the Storm Drop, where you could register your address, and then the longer you kept your coins locked up for, you get to participate in these drops. And it was a pretty significant chunk of coins. Every time that the drop came, everybody dumped it. And even though there was a market and people were like talking about this, it was like talk of the town and all these like crypto.
I gotta say, I have not heard of most of the shit you're talking about.
Well, what about Dragon Chain? Have you heard of Dragon Chain?
Only because someone told me that they got scammed.
The slumber score. It wasn't a scam. I mean, they were kind of false advertising. Disney was involved, so maybe that's a bit of a scam.
I think you know a lot more about shitcoins than I do, man. Because I have not, like, all these fucking things you're naming. Like, I kind of heard of Dragon Coin because one guy in chat.
Look up the slumber score.
No, it's just like you get some social bonus for not touching your coins for a while. It was what that was, but it's like a side thing. You're being paid in a side thing. Yeah, it's not the real thing.
You get a significant return on your lockup, like
for a side thing. Lockup. It's not the same currency.
No, that's the coin. That's the currency. These utility coins, Dragon and Storm.
I think that the DSS coin was separate from the original coin for the slumber score shit. That was that leave your coin sleep fucking thing that the Dragon thing had.
Well, it was the DRGN, but they just had a multiplier like tagged onto them, so you could get the longer you held them asleep. Like,
as I have said previously,
bonuses.
All of these cool game theory things only work as force multipliers if you have force to multiply against. If everyone's just fucking selling and then you're just changing when they sell, the price is just going to go down and change when it goes down. Right? You need actual demand. You need actual user.
Yeah, but history has kind of shown us, man, that over the last 2 years, all these altcoins just go down. They don't have any real demand. It's just the circle jerk of altcoin traders and community members that are like trading against each other.
That's a cool story, bro. But we've got over 10,000 users in HEX in fucking 3 weeks with no fucking ads.
Telegram?
We've got 7,000 people in Telegram alone.
Man,
We've got
I invested in a project that had 80,000 or something crazy people. Like every hot ICO in 2017-18 had like people coming in like by the thousands loads.
Let's try this a different way. Is there any metric possible that could exist in the real world that would let you think that something might be okay? Could you tell me what that metric is?
You know what I actually think would be pretty cool? Ari Paul had from Block Tower had an interesting, maybe it was Naval, one of those guys on Twitter a couple years ago had an interesting philosophical idea for a cryptocurrency that was like spread, if you could find a way to equally spread coins amongst as many people as possible and have it be real, like one coin basically, but like real, you know, where it's like everybody all over the world is using this thing, but it's actually a cryptocurrency. That does have a really fair Gini coefficient that doesn't have unfair distribution of wealth.
That would take 1 year to change into an unfair coefficient. Because people,
yeah, I mean,
if you redistribute all the money, the people that already are rich are going to re-get all the money again because they have better behaviors and habits. They save, they delay gratification. The stupid people blow their money.
So then why do you get mad that the top 2,000 addresses in Bitcoin have 40% of the coins or whatever then?
I don't actually get mad, but most people that I'm talking to think that they're going to change the world and think that they're going to kill the banksters by pumping the bankers' bags who own more Bitcoin than they ever will. When you pump Bitcoin's bag, 1% of it's owned by the PlusToken Ponzi, 1% is owned by Adam Draper,
not anymore,
1% is owned by Gemini Winklevi twins, 6% sitting on fucking exchange, which is the opposite of what crypto was invented for, a fucking counterparty that actually holds the keys, right? Gox has 0.5% with their 140K coins. They used to have fucking 1 full percent because they had 200K coins or 193K, and I start adding up these percents.
Yeah, they dumped it on us.
Yeah, they dumped it. They can't do that with HEX because
but there's a lot of creditors. There's a lot of creditors in the Gox thing. Which
Karpolis is going to get that money before anybody else, and then everyone else is going to have to sue him for
because
it if Vincennes doesn't get it.
No, he's not, because it's going through rehabilitation, civil rehabilitation. Maybe.
Well,
it's in process now.
It's being held up by by Peter Vincennes' fucking lawsuit for fucking $200 million or whatever.
Peter Vincennes is shitty lawsuit. Yeah, I don't know where that is right now. I know he's been holding it up, but I don't think he's going to be getting the coins. I think he's just trying to delay.
I think he wants to.
But I get what you mean. Regardless, I get what you mean, but I don't think it's really that concerning.
Look,
because
who's onboarding users? Do you know who's onboarding users?
Someone that wants a bigger stick.
Do you know who's onboarding users? Ponzi schemes. Ponzi schemes are onboarding lots of users. You know what sales pitch they're using? Cryptocurrency sales pitch. Yeah, we have real cryptocurrencies. We have real cryptocurrencies that have the potential to do real mad gains, as they have done before.
What I would like to do? You know what I would like to see? There's that one thing, the fair launch coin. That would be interesting to see that fairly launched with a referral scheme in there, like maybe even a couple of levels of referral scheme, because you're actually onboarding people. You're actually providing value to the network by getting people to use it. So sure, give a couple levels of referrals to people, like.
But I already built
get
that,
some of the fees.
And we don't need all the levels. We just need one.
Yeah, but it's not fairly distributed, like to everybody in the world. That's the thing. Like that's important. If you're gonna do it for these reasons,
it's pretty fairly distributed. Like, so when you got in,
said there's only like 10,000 people in your Telegram room. That's not. There's billions of people in the world, so it's not very. I'm talking about a real airdrop, like to the world. You know what I mean? Listen, like everybody somehow figures out their identity on the blockchain and gets coins.
I would like one of those particle machines that just makes you whatever you want when you ask the machine to make it, like in Star Trek. Like, hey, I'd like a fucking pot roast dinner, and then blip blip blip, you just get a pot roast dinner. This shit that you like, like I'm glad you want this fucking fantasy shit. I'd like to live in a sci-fi fucking reality sometimes. But
why didn't you build this? Listen, seriously, why didn't you build this? This would be awesome. Build a product that rewards people for spreading Bitcoin adoption in your coin. Raise your money, dude. Let's seriously. You'd raise 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 million, whatever. But programmatically build it in as almost like a second layer on top of Bitcoin that rewards people for spreading the word of Bitcoin, and they get rewarded Bitcoin
It sounds
from
great.
this pool that you raise.
When I was really young, I decided I would make an invincible tank by removing the atoms from it, because the atoms were what were failing. And that's what you've just described to me. So Bitcoin has a tragedy of the commons problem, and it's called a tragedy because it's nearly impossible to fix.
What's the tragedy of the commons? I'm out of shape on my Shakespeare.
It's okay. Tragedy of the commons means, should Bitcoin have a bug bounty program where you can be rewarded for responsibly disclosing a bug instead of just stealing everyone's money on chain? Yes, they should have that. Do they have it? No. Why? Because if you put your money up...
What does that have to do with what I asked you, though?
I'm telling you.
Tragedy of the commons?
It doesn't have a bug bounty program because someone has to pay a lot to gain a little. So if someone has 100K of Bitcoin, what are they going to do? Put all 100K up in the bug bounty? And then if someone wins they lose all their money?
That doesn't compute for me, because like early Bitcoin miners are donating 50 Bitcoin blocks to Grin developers. Like people...
Yeah, they should fix their shit. They should have
Wasabi just got awarded this summer the CoinJoin bounty, along with, I think it was Samurai.
And the Pineapple Fund gave away fucking tons of coins.
And the Pineapple Fund, yeah. So
I could go through all that, sure. So why don't you, since you know more about all this shit that's going on with all these other fucking things, why don't you go and popularize the idea of getting a goddamn bug bounty program in Bitcoin like they already fucking have in Ethereum, because it will make it more secure and catch bugs before they're a problem.
Though? Because I don't
make more secure software.
Well, what bugs have made it through so far?
Okay.
That have been exploited.
Is that what it takes? So you drive drunk. If you don't get into an accident, it's okay because you didn't get into an accident. Driving drunk's fine because you didn't get into an accident, right? Taking risk is fine as long as it didn't ever bite you in the ass. No, in fact, it's a world of probabilities. And if you do stupid shit, it will eventually bite you in your ass. And if you have a security software without a bug bounty program, you will eventually get fucked in your ass. And if
so
you can't,
your whole gripe with Bitcoin is that it doesn't have a bug bounty software.
No, I've got tons of gripes. I've got tons of things that could be improved, but you can't improve them without a fucking... In HEX, we have goal alignment. If you want to
Bitcoin, promote, you have the majority of the smartest protocol developers in the world.
You used to.
Smart. No, you still do, man.
No,
like there's tons
Ethereum passed them up just recently. No, I'm talking about real core developers. The real core developers are better than the Bitcoin developers now. It just switched. It just changed. It's very recent. It's because of all the ZK snark shit. It wasn't that way fucking 6 months or a year ago. Now it changed. You got to remeasure it.
I can't disprove you on there.
Just remeasure it.
It could very well be, and I gotta admit that Ethereum is a little bit of a blind spot for me. Because I don't care about what their mission is. I'm more interested in money. And,
let me tell you how good Ethereum is compared to Bitcoin. All right.
I don't know if I have. My wife's been texting me here saying that we gotta go open presents. I don't know if I have the time. Should we do part 2?
We got to do this again. We got to do this again sometime because I realize you're very smart. You know what's going on, and I feel that there's a lot of things that I know about Bitcoin and Ethereum that I could share with you that you would see value in.
I would be interested in learning more about Ethereum. Yeah. I mean, I've been following Eric Wall on Twitter for a little while.
He's all you need to follow. He'll tell you what's going on.
His mind.
He's the one that showed me some of these things. I would always say, Bitcoin had the best guys. And he was like, actually, recently this shit changed. I learned that from him. I learned about ZK rollups from him. I learned about optimistic rollups from him because he spends all day reading about these new consensus shit that's going on, and I'm working on something else. So I'm working on traction and onboarding and virality, and I'm working on things like that, and he's working on technical stuff that isn't worth any money, but it's cool to know. So he chose the
So I want to learn both because I don't want to have echo chamber syndrome where I'm just saying Bitcoin's the best because it has the best people.
That's what happened to Nokia. That's what happened to IBM. That's they were the best and now they don't exist anymore basically.
Well, so far what I've seen is though, as I've been paying attention, that Ethereum has an undeniably significant developer community that's bigger than most other cryptocurrencies.
They'll have 2,500 developers show up to a fucking developer meetup. You go to a Bitcoin developer meetup, you'll have 200 max.
But a lot of that is
app developers, and it's different. I agree, sure. So maybe it's only 3 or 4 to 1 core. Yeah.
Lightning Network, has been gaining a lot of attraction.
If it works if Lightning works for Bitcoin, it will work for Ethereum too. They're all BIP39 address based. There's no big fucking difference. Anything that's awesome that Bitcoin does with Lightning, I hope it works because it'll help every cryptocurrency.
Right.
That's what open source software does.
I invested in Bolt Labs. They're like a privacy second layer. They work with Lightning Network. They work with Zcoin.
Andreas's new book's about Lightning Network that's coming out. So,
I'm totally not against. I mean, I struggle with where my thesis is on cryptocurrency. Still, I majority hold Bitcoin. I'm long Bitcoin. Like, I think it's going to be 100,000 within the next 4 years, 5 years, 3 to 4 years.
I hope it is.
I think $1 million within 10 years if it succeeds as its mission of global reserve currency, which we're on the path there.
So just remember that you just quoted a 13x. I also have
some other stuff.
7K to 100K is about a 13x, right? So in crypto, do you think 13x is a lot? Because I don't think it's a lot, but it's what you're hoping for and waiting for.
Well, no, I think there's 100x left. I think there's 100x left for the average person to be able to get in Bitcoin. One more 100x.
Imagine what you could do in a lower cap coin. Imagine what type of X.
I know. I invested in Ryblocks when it was like pennies, and I got it like I got a nice return off of Ryblocks. Right. It changed its name to Nano.
Yeah.
But I lost most of it in BitGrail when BitGrail got hacked. So like
well, they're in receivership, so there's a court case. They ruled against the exchange in Italy.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm not paying attention to it. It's just more headache than I need.
I hear you, man.
But I get the significant returns that you can get in shitcoin investing and low cap coin investing, but you can also get significant losses, and the majority of them are losses. So it's like, you'll get drawn in by that 1000x.
How do you feel? How do you feel about HEX at 1 Satoshi on the BTC pair?
I mean, I bought coins that were 2 Satoshis, and I'm like, wow, I'm gonna get this as a deal because it can only go up 1 and down, go down, up, and 1 or 2, and then it ended up in the Yobit Litoshi markets, and I'm totally destroyed because it goes down to like $50,000 market cap. So like, I'm not. I've played that game before and lost. So
I think you know a lot more about shitcoins than I do, man.
I know a lot about shitcoins. Yeah.
I just learned the word Litoshi like yesterday. I'm like, what the fuck is it?
Oh, I was trading carbon coin on. I was trading carbon coins. I got it at 1 Satoshi, and I was like, I'm gonna put 0.2 bitcoins into this shit coin. It can only go up 100%. So it went up like 500%. It went to 5 sats, and I'm like, yeah, look, I'm so smart. I could turn 0.1 into 0.5 or whatever. I'm like, yeah, this is fun.
I know nothing about shitcoins compared to you. Nothing.
Well, they get wrecked because they got no liquidity, and most of them are like pump and dumps, and like. Yeah. It's just, I get it, because I have that part of me that like the average person that's listening to this probably is like feeling these FOMO feelings and probably dabbles with shitcoins. And I get it. That's why I'm not really hard on people that do shitcoin stuff that much. Except when it's fraud, like what Roger Ver's doing with Bcash, trying to say Bitcoin Cash is Bitcoin and missell people and destroy the value of like potentially what Bitcoin could be by confusing noobs and thinking that it's Bitcoin. I think that's immoral.
Have you noticed that there's no word Bitcoin in my project?
Yeah, you removed it.
That's right.
Because I thought it was Bitcoin Hex, and now it's just Hex.
There ain't no word Bitcoin in there.
Which is it's good.
Yep.
But again, like I've seen a lot of like coins and interacted with a lot of coin communities members, and like, I'm a closet shitcoiner, so like I just. I totally don't like. I don't hate on things as scams just because they're altcoins, but like I gotta see that it's going to be potentially valuable, because a lot of it just has no staying power.
Here's what I believe.
That's what I learned.
With no marketing, with almost no marketing. The only marketing that happened before launch was me saying hi on Twitter to people and saying hi on YouTube to people, and some refers, and that's about it. We got 10,000 real users in 2 weeks. We got over $1 billion of Bitcoin that free claimed in 2 weeks. We got 60,000 stakes open.
Roger claimed his wallet?
Yes, Roger claimed as well.
How much does he have?
I'm not sure. I know the largest claim to a single address was about 2,400 BTC. So they got murdered by the whale penalty. They would have been cut in half by the whale penalty, a little bit more than half. So the whale penalty works.
So what's the risk that this is? What's the risk that this is a honeypot for surveillance on your?
I think 0%. So if you care about being as secure as possible and you want a free claim, what you do is you get a VPN, and you look at your exit node.
You only get $10,000, right? Or 10,000 hex per Bitcoin.
Well, plus your speed bonus, which is around 20%. So it's like 6% missing.
To me,
off
that
of
was just like, it wasn't enough incentive to claim, because I got 8 million coins for 0.25 Bitcoin. Right. I was thinking, like, why am I going to go claim? That's worth 800 Bitcoin. What I got. Like,
if more people would enter the AA system and move the ratio up, then it would be more valuable to free claim. But as long as
you know what you should have done, you should have done it on ZCL. You should have done like a Rhett Creighton scam.
Not in that
and pumped ZCL again, because that's the model that he had with Bitcoin Private.
I'm not interested in that. I bought a bag of Prime Coin and it just got delisted off of Polo, and now I think it trades basically nowhere because of Rhett's story about what he would do.
So what do you? Yeah, he was gonna do that. That guy's hilarious. He keeps pumping dumping all these
you realize that there was actually fraud in the Bitcoin Private, where they forked in UTXO that didn't actually exist, fake UTXO, and then used that to get supply. So like 10% of the merge fork was just fake, shouldn't have never existed, but no one fucking inspected it. Yeah.
Well, that was really scammy the way they designed that. It was like literally designed as a pump and dump for ZCL.
Yeah. Well, it worked.
Like they were taking advantage of the FOMO about fork coins, and like you could claim your BTCP or whatever, your Bitcoin Private, with your Bitcoin address or your Z Classic address. But of course, you got like 10x the coins if you use Z Classic. So people were trying to buy all this Z Classic so they could get more BTCP because they were trying to pump that. And then you got like YouTubers like Ty Zen and that like promoting these things, and that's why people call this stuff scams, because it's like noobs are getting convinced that they're going to get Moon when they buy this ZCL and get this BTCP, and then it all ends up just getting wrecked, and they all get wrecked.
They did get Moon, and then they didn't, as is the case with so many cryptocurrencies.
No, because they actually like did the snapshot early and then dumped it all before they told us they were going to do the snapshot like
somebody did well on that shit. I don't know who, but somebody did
probably the
well.
Insiders. The insiders, they made all the money, and they dumped it early on everybody.
HEX doesn't have that problem because we have a chart of future market supply, and over 84% of it is locked, and you can see it, and you know when it can unlock. And if you unlock early, man, you can get decimated with fees. I think somebody for fun made a 5,555 day stake and then emergency unstaked it like the next day. I think they lost like 86% of their stack. They turned like 2 million HEX into 800 HEX because they did that.
The thing though is like the reason why I was saying that, I was just joking. Obviously, I don't want you designing a pump and dump, but like the reason why I was saying that is because it doesn't seem like there's much like real traction for people claiming their Bitcoin HEX.
There's about 1,000 or 2,000 BTC that claims every day. It's a lot of money.
Right, but don't you need like a massive adoption of this thing for all these pumpamentals to like pick up really. And kick in?
We just need more people to press green than red if you care about price. So, like,
well, for me, for someone who didn't know about the inflation, I bought coins.
Yeah.
Now I'm just wrecked, and like I bought coins. I shouldn't have bought coins. Basically,
if you needed to be, if your investment horizon is that you need to be up the next day, you're not speculating properly. You can't accurately predict what the fuck is going to happen with a new cryptocurrency the next day. You're just not, it's not.
I think in terms of market cap when I'm looking at investments like this. So like 8 million.
I don't know why you do that, but
well, because that's typically how cryptocurrencies work. There's like none of them really have this.
Well, let me tell you the crypto. Let me tell you the market cap stuff.
Complicated mechanics.
Well,
so what's the total supply going to be?
The total supply in my models, which you can go and use your own numbers, the more people that free claim, the higher the supply, and the less coins that are available to the adoption amplifier. And the less coins the origin address gets, the more people that free claim.
That's so confusing, but continue. Just like what's a estimate of
it should be in between 600 billion and 750 billion, I believe. And you
600 billion.
Yes, 600 to 750 billion, around there.
So let's say
it'll be the low end if we continue to get like low claim percents.
So if it's you say it's at 1 Satoshi now or 2?
It's at 2, but I mean it's such an illiquid market that anyone could come and buy the order book for 3 BTC. You can set the price to whatever you want for 3 BTC.
That's okay. So at 700 billion coins at 2 Satoshis, that's a market cap of.
But that's not how market cap works. That's not how
million.
market cap works. That's not how market cap works. Market cap's based
Okay,
on circulating supply, not total supply.
Oh, that's what I mean. Like total
Right.
circulating
So
supply.
now
It's
you've-
not 600 billion.
Well, you would have to be able to predict at what rate people were locking, and currently it's 85%. So if we use that 85% lockup, that means that
So
there's only 15% circulating. So it would be 15% of let's call it 650 billion.
So it's like 120 million market cap.
You can call it that, sure. So it'd be 120 billion.
So
circulating
that's like
supply.
I invested at 3 Satoshis. So
All you're doing is trying to calculate what's called a Vlad number. So what you're doing right now, trying to calculate what percentage of the total supply that you own, you can actually look it up on a chart on on-chain effects called the Vlad number, and it's what amount of coins you have to have in order to get 1% of 1%, which is like
no,
1/10,000.
I'm just like roughing the valuation of this thing,
Sure.
basically.
So
like
640B.
and this is in a year or 2 years.
That's at the end of day 353. Now here's what you have
So
to
a year.
remember: those coins,
So if we get
they don't
if we
actually
get a
exist
moon-
unless people end their stakes, and a lot of these stakes end many
yeah,
years.
I get it. I think I get it now. Like
Sure.
they have to execute the smart contract to mint
Right.
their own coins,
And it happens
based
at
on
the
what
end
they
of their
stake.
stake. So I mean, so let's say there's 100 and
Man, this sounds more complicated than make or die. And I don't see, people like
I don't
make
know.
or die so much. I don't get how the average person is gonna get this concept. It just seems so foreign.
Have you ever
like,
gone to
people.
a bank and bought a normal CD and read the fucking
Well,
paperwork they hand you?
I'm in
Life's
Canada.
complicated,
We
man.
don't have CDs here.
You have
We
GICs there.
GICs, yeah.
Yeah. So
And
so what
and
you
honestly,
bought-
like most people don't have GICs. Most people don't do that shit.
it's the
because
second
they
most
just don't
popular product at
understand
the
it.
bank. It's the second most popular product at the bank. There's 7.2.
Yeah, but most people don't have them though. Most people don't have enough money
It's
to like
7.2
live for...
trillion in the United States and China alone. It's more than printed currency, which is like 5 trillion. So there's 50% more value in CDs than there is in fucking printed
Okay.
cash. It's a fucking really big market. It's a bigger market
Okay,
than
so
Bitcoin
it's
addresses.
pretty big in the U.S.
It's a bigger market than Bitcoin addresses. Truthfully.
And that's the I'd say that's probably because people don't really realize what they're doing. It's just the bank tellers selling them on like
It's mostly
"Oh, get
old
up, it's
people,
more
man.
interest."
Old people need guaranteed income. So it's mostly like my grandparents before they died.
Who's your market, your target market for this? Like crypto bros?
It's really in the beginning here, crypto bros, because they're easier to onboard and they understand this complicated shit. But
do they even have
future
any money,
forward-
the crypto bros?
Yeah, sure. I mean, look,
Let's see you crypto bros listen in the YouTube chat. Give Richard your biggest tip. Let's see how much money you guys got.
I don't have ads turned on, man. No ads, no
Oh,
tipping,
okay,
none of
never
that
mind.
shit. So,
I want to see what's the biggest like.
well, I
whale
mean,
you
look,
got listening.
the biggest claim was 2,400 BTC, and I think the biggest entry into the AA was like 2,850 Ethereum, I believe, on day one.
Okay, that's
We got
surprising that people are gambling with that kind of money on this thing. That's really funny.
It's more secure than Bitcoin.
They're not
Like,
locking it up or anything.
listen,
They're
it's
just-
more
they're just
secure than
like, yeah,
Bitcoin.
Who's got 2,800 Bitcoin? That's like, oh, I'm gonna
Oh,
claim
no,
my
he-
X. like,
Bro, I think Hit BTC might have claimed as well in their cold
okay,
wallet.
I guess
maybe.
they probably have like,
I'm not sure.
yeah,
Because I see that the Hit
HIT
BTC ETH wallet has HEX in it, and
Well, usually that means
I
they're
think you
gonna
had to
add
have the
HEX.
private key to that in order to execute that. So I think Hit BTC actually claimed
Well,
the
that-
fucking cold wallet. I think.
That might mean that they're gonna try to add HEX though, because they're
Maybe.
just playing with it.
I don't know.
and-
I'm not sure. Like check my work. I just went onto a block explorer and looked at who was holding HEX coins, and I
don't
saw
like-
there was the Hit BTC's like fucking wallet there
Man.
holding HEX. I'm like, well, that's interesting.
Have you actually like used?
You know
Ethereum?
what?
It's
Maybe
so
that I might
confusing.
be wrong. I might be wrong because someone could have maybe sent HEX to their fucking cold wallet there.
Probably. That
I don't
could
know.
happen.
Like you got to look into it. It's just interesting. So here's my
It
opinion.
could have happened.
I believe HEX is more secure than Bitcoin. We have modular code where the consensus code is locked and immutable in a smart contract, so you can't accidentally fuck it up.
So do you think that like there's gonna be HEX ETFs? like the
It would be nice one
like-
day, sure, but
like
you'd have to have lower
Fidelity's gonna
volatility. If we can
Fidelity's
get the
gonna
volatility
start
down, sure.
trading HEX.
If we can get the volatility down, and we've got a large enough onboarding base,
Why would
then I think
they-
it would qualify, sure.
So you think that this is gonna be like a global reserve currency?
I think it can do a better job of it than Bitcoin has done. It has better design features.
But no
It's that
one's going to
simple.
adopt it if you're like punishing whales.
We're not punishing hex whales. We're just killing Bitcoin whales. It's different. We're creating new whales. So everyone hates banks until they own a bank. Everyone hates the 1% until they're in the 1%. We're just creating new whales by getting rid of the old ones. It's different. We're not socialists. We're not getting rid of the concept of whales. We're just making new ones.
So if I'm like a crypto tycoon, I can still make my fortune and not get penalized.
Obviously, yeah. Look, we reward whales and HEX, actually. We have a bigger pays better reward that pays you up to 10% more if you have 150 million HEX in a stake.
You have to stake it, otherwise you get destroyed on inflation.
The inflation is very low. The maximum inflation possible is 3.69% per year.
Well, what's the total cap right now? What's the total available supply right now?
I think it's very simple. Just go to hexstat.com and it has every possible, imaginable, dreamable stat and chart. It's an amazing
Just
website.
A rough estimate. I'm just trying to get an idea.
I'm going to tell you the exact number right now. There's 4.77 billion HEX circulating.
What? Okay, so it's going to inflate like 10x over the next year. Or more.
Yeah, likely, yeah.
Way more than that. It's going to inflate like 100x.
Yeah.
So why the hell would anybody buy it right now? Why wouldn't
Actually,
they
I'm not sure about that 100x. I mean, it's this simple.
Well, if there's 4 billion and there's going to be 600 billion, that's like you're going to be
I have a better way to measure it.
Destroyed.
Your 20 days, that's not...
Anybody
Are you familiar with EOS?
Like
Are you familiar with EOS? Are you familiar with EOS?
Yeah,
EOS did the same shit.
Wrecked.
EOS did the same shit. EOS did the same shit. EOS did a 40x in the bear market. EOS did a 40x in the bear market. EOS launched over 350 days. Yes, it fucking did. It did a 46x in the bear market, actually, if you want to measure the Bitfinex price. I'll show you the fucking chart right now. I'll show you the chart right now.
I'll show you my portfolio right now.
Yeah. It went up 46x in the fucking bear market is what it did.
It peaked at $16 and it's currently at $2.
Yes, shit goes up and then down just like Bitcoin, bro. I remember when it was 20K. Now it's 7K. I don't know why you're selecting. Yes, everything died in the bear market. That doesn't mean that cryptocurrencies suck.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay, you're right. It went from $6 to $17 in May. So there was a pump there in the bear market.
It went up 46x in the goddamn bear market.
No, that's not true.
All right,
no,
I'm gonna give you dates.
The bear market started in January 2018. It was already at like $9. It actually went down 3x, and then it went up.
I'm going to give you the very specific dates. This will be the simplest thing ever. One moment.
Bear market started end of January 2018, right when cryptocurrency ads got banned by YouTube, Google, and Facebook and Twitter.
Before they launched their own crypto.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was literally to the day when when Blockstream announced that Lightning Network was live early, and like Lightning Labs got mad and were saying it's reckless, and then the reckless meme started. It was the same week pretty much to the day that all the spamming stopped on chain on Bitcoin because the Bcashers realized, okay, well this is going to be a losing battle. Let's just focus our resources over to.
So you ready for some dates? Bcash. Okay, I'm gonna give you a date.
And all the ads got banned at the same time. So yeah, give me some dates because I'm looking at not great.
So yeah, from
November.
October,
November, yeah.
I'll use the daily chart. Do you want me to use the weekly or the daily?
It doesn't matter. What you're saying is not true, man. That was the bull market. Like that 2-3 month period.
Yes, but it also it repumped again in the bear. But give me a minute.
It did, but the low was $5, and now it's at $2. So it's actually down over 50% since the bear market started after that pump.
Yeah. Let me give you the dates. October 24th, 2017.
Right.
To January 13th, it did a 38x in 82 days. So in less than 3 months, it did a 38x.
In the bull market, yeah.
Yes, in the bull market. And now I'm going to give you the fucking bear market measurement. One moment. I'm looking at the Finex chart here. In March of 18, now mind you, Bitcoin was already ass fucked at this point. It was already wrecked as fuck, right? Everything was wrecked as fuck. And it did a 5x in 42 days. From March of 18 to April of 18 in 1 month.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it did a 5x in the bear market, and it did a fucking 40x in the bull market.
It was $5. It was $5 at the low of the bear market, even after it pumped, it retraced it completely and down another 50%. Now it's at 250.
Yeah. So look.
So it's like, you know, if unless you're selling the top and buying the bottom, you're destroyed.
But that's
on this
Bitcoin
coin.
too. That's every crypto. Every crypto drops 85 or 90% except the stable coins. It's not fucking avoidable.
Yeah,
if
but
I want
when
to
you
pick on
measure
coins
them,
that beat Bitcoin, I'll just show you BNB. Like,
if you measure them against Bitcoin, a significant majority of them are down. So
yeah,
like
obviously.
the odds are stacked against your favor that you're going to pick the winner.
Yes, the odds are stacked against you. You should really choose winners, not randomly. Like if you're just
like that's why I believe that there are going to be outliers. Like
yeah.
Cosmos, I think, was one that went insane. This like you know, way better than Bitcoin this year, and
Dude,
BNB held better.
Fucking murdered Bitcoin. 433x.
Atomic Wallet. Like I was looking at Atomic Wallet coin and it went nuts during the bear market. Like there's these coins that do good, but it's just like indie movies. Like
you got to choose
Blair
the right
Witch
one.
Project did really well, but most $50,000 budget movies just never see the light of day.
Yeah, look, you have to choose the right fucking one. Like
I
how
think
many
the
of these
smarter
guys? How
thing
many
to
of these
do-
coins were started by Richard Hart? How many of these coins had the right pumpamentals? How many of these coins got fucking 10K real users, a billion in free claims with no fucking ads, basically?
A
in 20
lot.
days?
That's the thing, man. Like a lot of these coins had massive amounts of users in their Telegram rooms. They had all these bots being built. They had all these like seemingly like organic communities with all these funny memes and these like, you know, news happening all the time, great advertising, good marketing. Some of them had referral programs.
So why do you still buy shitcoins if you don't believe? I don't get it. I don't fucking understand.
Because I thought maybe there was like a Richard Hart army that was, you know, I just didn't realize
our community kicks ass. Our community is fucking awesome as fuck.
Yeah, but if you go look at like Stratus, and they had a nice community. Ryblox has a good community. Nano has.
Didn't
a good
you say
community,
you did amazing on Ryblox? What the fuck?
Before
how come you're stabbing them up
now? It's wrecked.
Ryblox didn't get hacked. The fucking exchange got hacked. It's different.
The exchange got hacked. I lost my coins, but
because you didn't use Ryblox, you used an exchange. God damn it! You deserve to lose your fucking coins.
Actually, I used a guy on Twitter to do it for me.
Jesus Christ!
But because I didn't want to touch that shit, I was like, I couldn't get any. It was too.
HEX solves this. HEX shows
but there was
you
a scarcity with Ryblox. There was a scarcity that was appealing, and it was like that was a real fundamental thing about Ryblox. I couldn't get my hands on any. They had a community of a Telegram room of like 2,000 Filipino people that were just like trading this shit, like super passionate about it, and actually like they were solving captchas all day long to get these Ryblocks, and they wouldn't sell it because it was worth something for them. So I was like, I gotta get me some of these Ryblocks because how is this not on an exchange? And then I found out like they were on Cryptopia, but then the community was just so like toxic to the Cryptopia that they just decided to delist it, and then it was like. Whatever happened.
How do you get delisted from Cryptopia? Fuck, it's the fucking cancer.
Well, they were like the community was so pissed off, and they were just like harassing them constantly, so they ended up getting delisted. Just like what happened to Digibyte recently. Like DGB was
he fucked up
shitting on Polonia.
He shouldn't have talked shit. He shouldn't have talked shit. I'm being a lot nicer to exchanges these days.
It was hard. I think that like people who want to find low cap gems and maybe mine them or whatever, like follow like Not So Fast. He's a good guy to like follow for that stuff. But it's such a shit like crap game that you're probably going to lose most of them.
I don't think that HEX has anything in common with all of those other fucking things you named.
There's no scarcity because I bought some easy for 0.25 BTC and now it's like people are still throwing it out there. So
you understand every proof of work currency starts from 0 coins and goes to shitloads of coins. So Bitcoin used to inflate a fuck ton. Every new coin inflates a fuck ton. HEX is only inflating for this first fucking 353 days, and the vast majority are being locked up for a long fucking time. No, it is not compared to fucking normal proof of work coins. It is not. It
doesn't matter if it's a normal proof of work. We're in a state of distributed ledgers and like IOTA and like proof of stake and all this.
IOTA's the worst.
Proof of work, proof of stake. EOS is like 21 block producers. Like, it doesn't matter proof of work, proof of stake, whatever in shitcoining.
Listen, if you want to try and predict HEX's price, then why don't you go pull up the fucking EOS chart?
I realize
the same 350-day launch. that I published. I published the
here's the
source
thing.
data. I published the chart. Maybe you can find some correlation there. Maybe that works for you.
With my experience as a shitcoin connoisseur, I am just thinking that I don't think that the massive inflation is going to be good for anybody that's buying right now. I think people are going to lose value because it's going to end up in the Litoshi markets.
Bro, I don't think that your statement that restricted supply pumps price actually pumps fucking price. Or XRP and XLM would both be outperforming
Scarcity.
Bitcoin because they're more scarce than Bitcoin.
They're
but
not
indeed they are
outperforming
not.
Bitcoin. They're not. They're getting
They're
destroyed
not.
against
Yes,
Bitcoin.
and they're more scarce and they have lower inflation. So I discount your argument that inflation is what drives the fucking price.
Ripple's not more scarce. There's 99 billion ripples.
What matters is the rate of release into the market. Bitcoin dumps every time a Bitcoin miner gets a coin. They get $500,000 of coins an hour. They fucking dump them all on the market to try and break even because the difficulty is too high.
Jed McCaleb has like a massive supply of Ripple that he's been consistently dumping, and so has.
I'm not here to defend fucking XRP or XLM. I don't even want to defend these projects. Like I'm not saying that those coins are great. I'm just saying that this thesis that you think that what is going to pump is the restricted supply thing is noob mode. What matters is onboarding users.
I get, yeah, there's a part of what you're saying that's true, but when you look at the fundamentals of like the price and the supply and all that stuff, and you see 6
that
billion
shit
coins
doesn't
now,
matter. It almost never fucking matters. Tell me why Dogecoin's worth $250 million. Tell me why. Why is Dogecoin worth $250 million? It doesn't make any sense.
Dogecoin is one of the rare like altcoins that actually kind of has some real world value because of the community.
Damn it. Oh my god. Oh fuck.
You can't deny it.
Memes like, better than ours? I don't know.
Not anymore. Like Dogecoin was like something special, but it's not anymore, and it's now just
it's
kind of
still
like
a $250 million fucking dollars.
Yeah, but it's not real dollars. Look at the support. Like look at the volatility. I mean the volume. It's not real dollars.
Man, look, I believe in HEX. I think it's fucking amazing. I think it's going to go amazing places. I have no idea what the fucking price is going to do. Neither do you. Neither does anyone else.
I know the price is going to go down for a year. I must know this. It has to go down for a year because of the amount you're giving or it's giving. It's like if people adopt HEX and they print 600 billion HEX, that's a massive supply. Even if 85% of it's locked up.
You understand that effectively, if you're looking at the ratio, if you got in day one, you got like 40,000 HEX per ETH. Now you get 1 million HEX per ETH. So it's already done. It's already done like a 95% dip or doodle if you're measuring that as a ratio.
What's an ETH at right now?
About 128 or something.
So I got 8 million of them. I could buy 8 million of them now for $960. What's 0.25 Bitcoin?
I'll tell you in a second.
7,200. 1,800. So basically, you can save money off the market by 50% by buying it in the smart contract with ETH.
I'm saying that if you bought day one, you were part of the raindrops that made the
I didn't buy day one. I bought like week 2.
Sure.
I bought like the day after you had Peter on your show.
Good job.
And it had already gone down like 80%. And it went down like 80%. And I'm like, there's, probably unlikely this is going to go down another 80% this early. I'll buy a little bit and it's down well on its way to 80%.
You and your squad of other shitcoin FOMOers are responsible for the fucking shape of the price chart. It is you guys. If you guys don't like the shape of the price chart, you shouldn't have fucking made it that way. I don't like. This is how markets work. You are part of the market. You helped set the fucking price. I hope that you guys make a nice shape on the price chart. But I can tell you that if something has already dropped,
I should have looked into it a little bit more before I bought it at that price. That's a ridiculously high price.
It's at 2 sats. You can only trade on most exchanges at 1 sat. Yes, there's some other fucking weird exchanges where you could trade the ETH pair. You could trade the Litoshi shit, which I've just discovered. Yes, the fucking thing could go to 0. Like any Bitcoin could go to 0. HEX could go to 0. It all could go to fucking 0, right? What I care about, why I don't give a fuck about the price right now. Am I selling any fucking HEX? I'm not selling any fucking HEX. Why do I care about the price?
Let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at that for now because I'm getting more texts from the wifey. But I want to talk a little bit more about the features next time we talk,
Okay.
because maybe let's forget about the price, because maybe if we're in a bull market and alt season happens again, let's just put on the shitcoin hat. Alt season happens again, everything starts to moon again. Maybe this is going to be an outlier, and I kind of want to understand what you've built here to like make it a contender for paying attention to. Because there's other projects like Reserve Rights. Like Reserve Rights is backed by people like Silicon Valley elites and stuff, and that thing, it has the potential to do like a 1000x. Like they've got some significant money that could potentially go behind it.
Wasn't Ethereum backed by the Silicon Valley guys? Didn't it just drop 95%? Really well.
Yeah, but if you got in the ICO,
you did better if you bought a Kraken. If you bought in the ICO, you got like 35-cent entry. And if you bought a Kraken, you got like 17-cent entry, or 15 cents actually.
Gotcha. Yeah. But let's say alt season happens again. I'm just saying that there's probably like a lot of contenders for what people are going to be like shilling. So
yeah,
I'd like to learn.
Don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
What?
I think that. Look, I think that an alt season is likely to occur again at some point, and I think it will be newer coins that don't have a shitload of bag holders from higher ready to sell at break even. And I think new price discovery is more exciting on a chart. So like I do think that will happen again. And what I'm focused on in HEX is I like to see new users being onboarded. So, I make nice videos sometimes and, just talk about my hobby here, which is HEX, and fucking I see lots of other people doing the same.
Before we go, like, I want to talk.
HEX can go to zero. Do your own fucking research. I don't know what the fucking price is going to do.
My wife is sending me mad emojis.
Go do Christmas, man.
But I want to talk a little bit more about Bitcoin and Ethereum next time.
Sure.
And
I'd love to.
And anyway, it was good chatting with you.
It's good talking to you, man.
I wish you well, sir. That I didn't try to trap you into
I do like that. I'm glad you didn't treat me like that punching bag in the background there. It was good talking to you, man. Ciao. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Ciao. All right, everybody. I'm back. It was good to have a guest. He seemed nice. He knows a lot more about shitcoins than I do. I have not heard of half of the coins he's mentioned. Let's go check the chat. This fucking chandelier's got it nice and hot in here now. Yeah, so I don't believe that every new mined cryptocurrency has a shitload of inflation, which is what happens when you go from 0 coins to lots of coins at the end of the year. Bitcoin used to have annualized thousands of % inflation per day. Because it was like from first block to the second block, that's 100% inflation in 10 minutes. Damn, that's a lot. Now annualize that, right? What matters isn't so much the inflation. I believe my price theory, do your own research. This shit's nearly impossible to do. This is just one idea I have. I think what matters is the ratio of incoming money to outgoing money. That's what I think matters. I think you can have a high inflation rate and higher inbound rate. I think you can have a low inflation rate and lower inbound rate. And then if you like, what matters is what hits the order book. So if the supply increased by 1,000,000x, but it could never hit the order book, who cares? It's irrelevant, right? If the supply drops a lot, but everyone that was going to sell is selling at the same rate that they were going to sell, okay, well, it's not relevant. Like what's relevant is what hits the exchange if you're looking at exchange price. So I think what a lot of people believe moves prices, I don't think really moves them. If having a limited supply could pump price, I'm sure there's a lot of coins that have no inflation that also have no users. And then the price doesn't move. If having low inflation rate on its own was enough, I know that XLM has a lower inflation rate than Bitcoin, and it always has had. And yet, its price did outperform, I think early 2018. Because, you can't, if you're not in the top 10 and then you go into the top 10, obviously you had some badass performance to get there. But since then, I don't think that it has outperformed, even though it has a lower inflation rate. So I don't think you can pick winners and losers in crypto just by looking at inflation rate. I don't think it's possible at all. It would be the easiest thing in the world if you could. Yeah, I mean, Ethereum in 2017 beat Bitcoin's ass price-wise. So did XRP. So did a lot of other things. So did EOS. A lot of things beat Bitcoin's ass in 2017. And the inflation rate didn't really seem to matter. So it's interesting. It's very interesting. Yeah, speculating's hard. Like, good luck, guys. Good luck predicting price. I think HEX has got an awesome design. I hope it works out. But, like, speculating's hard. You know, predicting price is hard. I don't know what the price is going to be tomorrow. Could be high, could be low. It's not what I'm focused on right now. I'm focused on what matters, which is what I believe, users. I think users matter. I think trying to optimize price performance for week 3 is retarded. It's not what you're optimizing for. You're optimizing for later. At least that was the design intention of HEX. We didn't optimize for week 3 performance. And whatever sub-optimization that occurs here, if things work out, should mean better things later. Because there's more meat on the table for people later. We didn't allocate everything up front to the early guys. Trying to catch up with Chad here. Somebody says all the metric depend on exchange. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think if people like a thing, like he liked Ryblock, so he went to some weird exchange that didn't carry any other coin except Ryblock's and bought on that exchange and lost all his money. That's how much he wanted that project. Fucking exchange didn't matter. The exchange was straight cancer, but he wanted the project, so he found a way to get in. He bought from someone on Twitter, was his words. So it's like, what I believe is what drives exchange price is demand, and I think exchanges are subsequent to demand. I think demand drives price, and exchanges are just kind of there. I don't think exchanges, I mean, look, if exchanges pumped price, then why are things getting delisted? If exchanges are so badass for price, how does something get delisted? It's on the exchange, so it should kick ass, right? Nope. It turns out that you need to actually kick ass on your own. The exchange isn't going to kick ass for you. You know, they just kind of sit there usually, is what it seems like. I don't see them making videos about certain coins and saying that nice things about those coins. I don't think that's what exchanges do. So, you know, I think people that are hoping that exchanges will pump their bags are short-sighted. You need to do your own things to make your project better, not hope that someone else does it for you. Somebody says he's a gambler and his investing method is based on throwing darts at the board. He's probably got some method. I don't know it. I don't think he told it to me. Somebody asked, is 20 million HEX okay for retirement in 2 years? I have no idea, dude. This is crypto. I have no idea. No one else knows either. You're in the right asset class for mad gains. These types of things do seem to occur in this asset class, yes, but when and how much, good luck, man. Good luck figuring it out. Somebody says, I bought my Prime coin through Cryptopia, frowny face. Yeah, I hear you, man. Somebody says, Bitcoin will still be inflating when you're dead, dude. Yeah, that's how it's designed. You know your shitcoin on Cryptopia is no good when the people that hack it don't even bother stealing it. They don't even want to bother setting up a wallet to receive their shitty hacked coins. I wish I knew how far down the list of chat I am here. I'll try and scroll through this quicker. So, yeah, I think HEX is awesome. I'm very happy with where the project is at. I love seeing new users onboarding. I love seeing new YouTube channels starting just to say nice things about HEX. I love to see this everything getting better. So it works faster. There's more guides being written on how to use it through Etherscan. There's more YouTube channels. There's more videos. There's more memes. You know, all the metrics that I'm looking at that I know are adoption or FOMO or desire and interest and speculative stickiness, they're all there. So HexStat just keeps improving. It keeps making new charts and better charts. Everything in the ecosystem that I see is getting better, and that's what I care about. You know, I want to be part of something that has lasting value and is designed and pointed in the right trajectory for great things. And that's what's happening. Like, great things are happening now in front of our eyes. Everything is working as planned. It's regrettable that everyone over FOMO'd day one. I wish they had spread out over time a little bit more. But whatever, it's okay. Like, that's how markets are. You can't, you know, in another world, over FOMOing day one could have worked out if more people, you know, came in after. You can't know what everyone else is going to do. It's like a Keynesian beauty contest. So I think it's a great opportunity. It's obvious people were willing to get a ratio of 40,000 hex per ETH. And now, you know, 2 days ago, I think they got 1 million hex per ETH. That's like 25x better. You're getting 25x more hex for the same ETH input. Seems like it might be a good deal compared to what the other guys got, right? I have to be ultra super delicate and careful talking about this stuff with you because I can't promise you expectation of work. I can't promise you expectation of returns. I have no idea what any of the prices will do ever, and you should have no expectation of any work from anyone else at all. So make that very clear. No expectations of profit from the work of others. I have no idea what the price will do. Neither do you. Neither does anyone else. Oh, and crypto tends to drop 85 or 95% at some point, unless it's a stable coin. I guess that's it. Yeah. Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope that you've enjoyed the chat. I thought it'd be cool to say hello. What else? New things. What new things have we got? Bitcoin price seems to be up. Let's take a look. Bitcoin. What? Didn't go to the site I wanted. Bitcoin's at 72.50. I think it was up like 7,500 yesterday, I thought. 72.50 ain't that bad, I guess. And let's look at HEX for giggles. Most liquid exchange is Bidesk.com, but it is not on CoinMarketCap, so they don't track the price. The only two exchanges that CoinMarketCap's tracking for HEX price right now are Fork Delta and Tags with a Z. You do have to KYC at Tags. They're Australian regulated, registered, and all that stuff. All right, Bidesk, and let's click exchange, and let's type HEX. Yeah, on the BTC pair right now, last trade, one sat. So right now there's 469 million HEX bid at one sat, and there's 111 million, no less. I think there's 111 million ask at two sats and a 467 million bid at one sat on this exchange. Now, to tell you how little that actually is, let's do some math. A Satoshi is 100 millionth of a Bitcoin. And these are priced in Satoshis. So at 2 sats, the order book has about 110 million hex. So 110, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 110 million hex times 0.1234567 2.2 Bitcoin. So on this exchange, the most liquid exchange for HEX currently, if someone made a 2.2 Bitcoin bid, it would clear that level at 2 sats, and it would make the price 3 sats. So you could move it from where it is now. Well, it's at 2 sats now. You can move it where it is now at 2 sats up 50% to 3 sats for about 2 Bitcoin. That's how thin the book is here. So when people talk about, the price, it's like, actually, man, this price is whatever somebody wants to set it at. If someone wanted to spend 2 Bitcoin to set the price 50% higher, it would happen in an instant on this exchange, the most liquid exchange. To set the price on other exchanges costs like $20, maybe $100, because there's even far less liquid than this. So right now, looking at HEX price on these exchanges is kind of comedic, because really it's as high or as low as anyone wants to set it at, because 2 Bitcoin's not much economic energy. So anyone that just wanted to raise the price 50% could do it for, what's 2 Bitcoin? 15 grand. So how much faith should you have in a price that can be set to whatever you want for 15 grand? That's, I don't think that people should be putting a whole lot of weight into the price of an asset on an illiquid market. I think if you want to get more accurate price discovery, you kind of need more volume. But, hey, people did get their bids hit for 1 Satoshi today on this exchange. And now people are getting their asks hit at 2 Satoshis. That's a 100% move on this exchange. So today, somebody bought at 1 and sold at 2 and doubled their money. Now, that doesn't mean to say it had to be the same guy. So somebody's bid was filled at 1 Satoshi, and somebody's ask was filled at 2 Satoshis, and that is a 100% move on this exchange, which means at least a couple times today, this movement of 100% has happened. It's kind of a lot of movement. 100% a few times a day. It's kind of a lot of movement. Now the volume's not there yet, so the numbers aren't that big, but I don't know what more you could ask for as a speculator than a couple 100% moves a day. Seems interesting. What else? We had got added to a new exchange that does atomic cross swaps with HEX. So you can atomic cross swap relatively trustlessly Bitcoin to HEX or HEX to Bitcoin on atomicswapwallet.io, I believe. You can check HEX News or the HEX Twitter, HEX Crypto on Twitter, or t.me/HEX News. That came out, I believe, yesterday, I think. What else? Other good news in HEX. Some new chart stuff added to HEX Stat. The UI loads about 4 or 5 times faster than it used to on go.hex.win. Yeah, there's a lot of good things happening. So, unlike some other people you could talk to, I think good things are good. And I don't think that you can say that good things aren't good. An interesting position. I also think critical vulnerabilities are critical. Call me crazy. Yeah, what else? So if you go on hexstat.com right now, we show 84.3% staked, 4.79 circulating, and we're 30 days in. We're 21 days in, and that's 6% through the launch phase. Launch phase is 6% over already. Time flies when you're having fun. Let's take a look and check that date. So you go to go.hex.win, or if you want a 10% bonus, pumpamentals.com. You can see we're on day 22 of 351 days, which means we're about 6% done with the launch phase. So if you haven't free claimed your Bitcoin yet, you're missing 6% of your stack. It's gone. It's going to be given plus bonuses to stakers at the end here at day 353. And you're missing 6% of your speed bonus, which used to be 20% as well. Is that it? That's all I can think of. Yeah, everything's going good. Come join us. T.me/HEX Crypto. It's about 7,000 of us in there. Tons of chat all day long. Oh yeah, we got a HEX radio station now. Someone put together. He's got an alert that messages people about it, every so often in the HEX chat. 6,943 people in HEX Crypto right now. Go to twitter.com/HEX Crypto. Follow me on Twitter. Twitter.com/Richard Hart Win. If you want to donate to charity, go to SENS.org. They accept Bitcoin, Ethereum, you name it, other stuff. SENS.org. It's a good longevity research charity. And then, what else? If you want a self-help book, I wrote a couple. T.me/SciVive. The books are way better than I am. They remember more of the stuff I know than I can in a normal conversation, because it took a lifetime to come up with a lot of stuff. So free coins, free books, free chat, free videos with ads turned off. Don't trade. You'll lose all your money. Stop trading. Cut your losses. Stop getting wrecked. Trading is dangerous. The more you trade, the more you lose. That's how that works. No one else is going to tell you that on YouTube, because everyone else is making money on it. There's a big fat link right under everyone's vid that says, hey, trade and get wrecked so that they can make money on you. You won't find that here. I think that's it. Yeah, I'm in love. HEX is awesome. I'm very happy with where it's at, and I'm very excited to see where it can go. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Merry Christmas.